Welcome to the Stadium of Light, where Sunderland are looking to respond following back-to-back league defeats here and a miserable cup defeat at Port Vale last Sunday. Brighton lost to Arsenal last time out, but did win their previous two before that. They're looking for a win on Wearside for the first time since 1981. Sunderland make 4 changes following that defeat at Vale Park. Angulo and Lefay are both injured. Angulo's expected to miss the next 4 to 6 weeks, while it's hoped Lefay will be fit for next Sunday's derby at St James's. O'Nien and Mayenda drop to the bench. Hume, Xhaka, Siddiqui and Brobby are the 4 who come in. Brighton also change 4. Belieber and Matoma miss out through injury, while Buscagli and Ruter are on the bench. So starting 35-year-old top scorer Danny Welbeck and 40-year-old record breaker James Milner, both still flourishing very much so in the latter stages of their careers. Dunk returns from suspension and Minte starts as well. The music is playing. Here come the two teams, Sunderland and Brighton, just emerging from the tunnel down below us here at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland led out by Granit Xhaka, Brighton led out by the returning Lewis Dunk. Sunderland in their traditional home colours of red and white, Brighton in all yellow. Former Sunderland defender Danny Collins is alongside me. They could do with a response, Sunderland, and big time.
Exactly that, Lee. Yeah, good afternoon. And on both sides, really, as you say there, that disappointing performance and results last time out at Port Vale in the Cup. Big opportunity to make it through to the quarter-finals. The opportunity slipped them by, and looking for a response, as you say, this afternoon here, back at the Stadium of Light, in front of 40-odd thousand Sunderland fans. Can they put in a performance, and can they get going once again in the league here at the Stadium of Light? Say last time out in the league, that 1-0 win at Leeds, the penalty Habib Diarra, but it's back here at the stadium where the season has got going for Sunderland, secured their status really for next season. But as you say there, 1-0 defeat to Liverpool, followed by that 3-1 defeat to Fulham. It's back-to-back defeats, so they're looking to get back on track here at the Stadium of Light this afternoon.
As far as the two lineups are concerned, Sunderland 4-2-3-1 in front of goalkeeper Melker Elborg. The back 4 from right to left, Hertrauda, Ballard, Alderete and Hume. Then it's Siddiqui and Xhaka. Then Talbi, Diarra and Rigg, although we'll wait and see which way around that 3 is. Behind main striker today with 5 goals for the season so far. Joint top scorer actually with Lefay, Brian Brobby. Bit of pressure on him to do the goods today. Mayenda only starting on the bench. Yeah,
and the big one is, people will say Granit Xhaka coming back into the starting lineup, but for me, Brian Brobby is just as important for Sunderland and the way they play really. Ball's going up to him, he's a big strong lad, he'll enjoy it this afternoon up against Lewis Dunk returning for Brighton and Van Hecker alongside him. And he makes the ball stick. As I say, he's a strong boy. And then to get the wingers involved, you get Diarra, Siddiqui running off him. And he's a big, big positive for Sunderland this afternoon, having him back in that lineup.
What was the issue for Sunderland at Vale Park last week? A lot of people, so I live about 5 miles away from Vale Park. I know Port Vale as a football club really well. A lot's been made for the last 3 months about the state of the pitch. But Sunderland only made 2 changes going into that. It can't be that much of a leveller, can it?
No, listen, I think you get that. Everybody knows they played it in midweek, obviously, the previous round against Bristol City. They got through, and obviously we'd had bad weather in the week. It was a chopped up, churn pitch. But once you get off the coach and you go and assess the pitch as a player, you know you've got to roll your sleeves up. You've almost got to drop it down a level and don't go with that arrogance of, we're going to be a Premier League side, we're going to turn up here and try and out-football you. You've got to do the hard yards and run around a little bit more, and I just don't think too many done that last week. Opportunities for 1 or 2 coming in, the likes of Mayenda, didn't really break a sweat for me. Chris Rigg, albeit he starts again this afternoon, we'll have to wait and see where he is starting, but they didn't do enough, Sunderland, if we're honest. They had 70% of the ball, but they didn't work the goalkeeper enough, and the goal almost summed the game up really. It was a scrappy one, dropping about. And credit to Port Vale, they earned it, and they find themselves in the next round.
Brighton, I mentioned a few moments ago, lost 1-0 at home to Arsenal 10 days ago, but before that, back-to-back wins away at Brentford and at home to Nottingham Forest. They go 4-2-3-1 in front of goalkeeper Bart Verbruggen, Whiffer, Van Hecker, Dunk and Kadioglu, the back 4. Then it's Milner and Gross, then Gomez, Hinchelwood and Minte and Welbeck, their top scorer, as leading the line. That is a side littered with quality and littered with a lot of experience.
Exactly that, I was going to say, you're certainly adding that on, as you say, with Welbeck and Milner, but credit to them. You look at the shape and the condition they're still in as well, especially James Milner, as you say, 40-year-old, middle of the park as well, being asked to get the get the distances in there, and he certainly does that. And then, as I say, Danny Welbeck, top end of the pitch, into double figures this season. He's a handful. You know, he can hold the ball up, he can run in behind still as well. So it's going to be an interesting one this afternoon.
And it's Milner who gets this game started, wearing shirt 20, aged 40. Brighton in all yellow, Sunderland red and white striped shirts, black shorts, red and white socks. Live Premier League football here at the Stadium of Light on 5 Sports Extra 2. Danny Collins, former Sunderland defender, and myself, Lee Blakeman, your commentary team. It is one of those sunny, wintry days here, even though we are technically in spring now. It's bright sun beating down on the far quarter of the pitch as we look at things, but when you sit at the top of this main stand, and it is a really high, lofty commentary position, it is bitterly cold. Danny's come in just a thin jacket. I'm wondering if you're going to be paying the price come half time.
Yeah, I've been around here long enough as well. I should have learnt my lesson. But yeah, you can see the fans on the far side and bathing in that sunshine, short sleeves, shirts on, you know. But here in the main stand in August, it's always about 3 degrees, whatever the weather. So I should have learnt my lesson by now. But hopefully the action on the pitch gives us something to get a little bit warmer about this afternoon. And just having a look there, set up, we weren't sure were we, but it is Talby down below us on the left hand side, and Chris Rigg is out on that right hand side in possession now.
Sunderland kicking from right to left in this first half as we look at things. They're over on the far side with the ball at the moment, just as the sun just goes behind the cloud, so it's no longer shining over on the far side. Sunderland's goalkeeper Elborg wearing all green away to our right, Bart Verbruggen wearing all black away to our left, and the ball's coming towards him at the moment as Sunderland come on the attack with Siddiqui down the right. Deep cross, too deep this time, will go out for a Brighton throw on this near side. We were just talking before we came on air a few moments ago. We worked together for the Fulham defeat here a few weeks ago. Ridiculously dull first half,
yeah.
Incredibly lively second.
Yep.
With both teams now out of the cup,
yes.
Fairly comfortable mid-table in the Premier League. We are hoping here for a wide open game.
Yeah, exactly. And then just early on there, as you say, Brian Brobby making that run down the channel. As I say, he's decent at holding the ball up, but he's not shy either of running the channel. And he gets 1v1 against Lewis Dunk in the channel then. Feeds a decent ball across, maybe a little bit too much on it for Talby coming in on the opposite side there, but it's a good opening for Sunderland. And I've been critical of them in recent weeks. They don't play in behind teams enough. Everything's in front of the opposition, and you asked Lewis Duncan and Van Heck back there, they're delighted as centre-backs if all the action's in front of you.
If you are looking for Burnley-Bournemouth, by the way, that's over on Sports Extra this afternoon. The rugby on 5 Live. Burnley-Bournemouth will move to 5 Live at the conclusion of the rugby. First goal of the 3 o'clocks has gone in already. Big goal at the top of League 2. Cambridge leading Gillingham by 1-0 there. So a big goal early on, top of League 2. Ireland-Scotland, the rugby available on 5 Live right now. Here, Sunderland 0. Brighton 0, 3 minutes gone at the Stadium of Light. Ball loose in the midfield at the moment. Sunderland lose possession. Brighton have it back. They go back to Van Hecker. It was a bit of a loose ball being chased down by Brobby. By Van Hecker being chased down by Brobby, and then eventually Brighton are caught playing out from the back, and it's a Sunderland throw, which they look to take quickly.
Yeah, good pressure from Sunderland there. As you say, the ball goes back to Van Hecker. He's got to turn in and start getting up ahead of steam there, and Brobby puts pressure on him, forces the issue back to the goalkeeper Verbruggen, and they force it out of play on that far side, Sunderland. And just those little incidents like that get the fans up here at Sunderland.
And Sunderland are on the attack at the moment, down the left with Hume, runs out of space, and it will be a goal kick to be taken by Verbruggen, who's one of those goalkeepers. He'll amaze you 1 minute with an excellent save, then he's got a ricket in him. I think it's safe to say that, but he's been the regular Premier League goalkeeper this season and for the last few as well.
Yeah, for the Dutch national side, you're going to say it as well. You've got Robin Roos here, obviously not in action this afternoon, who's putting pressure on him for that number 1 jersey. And again, they're getting a mess at the back there. Verbruggen passes it out to play on the far side. Mix up between himself and Lewis Dunk.
Just 1 clean sheet in 9, Bart Verbruggen, and you're starting to see why already. They're inviting so much pressure onto themselves by persisting with this playing out from the back, and already Sunderland, as a result of that, have been able to win the game's first corner after 4 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think Fabian Herzler will be too impressed with the way his side have got going at the back. Certainly, as you say, Lee, trying to play out from the back, but that's a couple of occasions now they've got themselves in a bit of a mess, and Sunderland win themselves a corner on that far side. In
swinger to be swung in by Xhaka. In it goes, low towards the near post. It's going to be headed away to the edge of the area by Brighton. Welbeck tries to get it further clear, but Sunderland have it back on the edge of the centre circle with Hertrauder, moves it to his right, and they'll build again all the way back from goalkeeper Melker Elborg. 5 minutes played at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland 0, Brighton 0, Burnley 0, Bournemouth 0 as well. Commentary at 5:30 of Arsenal, Everton on 5 Live. Chelsea, Newcastle will be the Sports Extra option, and then there's one 8 o'clock game tonight in the Premier League 2, Manchester City away at West Ham. Brighton go long down the right here, looking for the run of Hinchelwood. Can he get there first ahead of Alderete? Good battle, Brighton throw, right by the corner flag. Hinchelwood thinks about taking it quickly, but then decides to wait for Whiffer and allow a few others to make their way forwards into the penalty area. Whiffer does take it quickly to Milner, brings it down. Milner, the last time I saw him play away from home was a couple of weeks ago at Brentford when he made history, breaking the Premier League's all-time appearance record. Absolutely terrific achievement, still going strong at the age of 40.
Well, he is, isn't he? It'd be easy for him as well, just to be coming on, getting the odd 5 and 10 minutes here and there, and you know, getting a few more appearances under his belt. But I don't think he's that type of player who'd be happy to do that, James Milner, to say in the starting lineup again this afternoon. And I think he's that type of player who, as I say, whether he's 20-year-old or 40, still enjoys getting the boots on and the competitive side of the game in there, and trying to get Brighton going again this season.
Well, Brighton have just lost the ball coming forwards. It was one of those days at Brentford a few weeks ago where all of us in the media were delighted because it was a great headline that Milner had broken the record. I spoke to James Milner afterwards. He weren't bothered. He basically just went, shut up and let's talk about the next game instead, shall we? Very down-to-earth, grounded individual as Sunderland come on the attack down the centre with Brobby. He's got options right and left. Moves to his right. Riggs over there. And now Xhaka. Now taking over on the far side is Diarra, just puts his foot on it, edge of the area, takes it to the byline, cross goes in, deep again. Whiffer didn't get the shout though, and it goes behind for a Sunderland corner.
Twice there, it's a lovely ball in. Habib Diarra doesn't have to beat Lewis Dunk on the far side, shifts it half a yard, and he fizzes a lovely cross to the far post. But again, Talby's on his heels outside the action. He's got to be there on the move, putting pressure on Whiffer at the far post and get himself a goal there if he's brave and he wants to go and attack the ball.
Second Sunderland corner in as many minutes. We've only got 7 minutes on the clock at the moment. No goals. Wide open, if not a little bit scrappy, this game so far. Is going to be an in-swinger, this one, from this near side. He swung in by Trey Hume with his right foot. Sunderland with 5 either in or on the 6-yard line. In it goes deep towards the back post, all the way through. Nobody gets a touch, and it will be a goal kick to Brighton to be taken by Bart Verbruggen. 7.5 gone, 0-0 on Sports Extra.
Yeah, got to give you a stat on set pieces as well. Like set piece goals.
I love a stat on set
conceded.
pieces.
Brighton have conceded 5, joint top best in the league. Sunderland have scored 7, 18th in the league. So you know what's going to happen this afternoon. A dirty 1-0 header at the far post on its way.
That is a polite way of a co-commentator saying, by the way, I spent loads of time yesterday doing my research and doing my homework. Very well shoehorned in.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people would think, you look at the size of Sunderland, you know, they've got Dan Ballard, you know, Omar Alderete, Granit Xhaka, Brian Brobby, but not making enough of set-piece situations. Sunderland at the top end of the pitch.
Giving it away, playing out from the back. Welbeck pounces into the area right side. His cross-come shot is blocked, but Brighton will win it back on this near side with Diego Gomez. He goes back. Welbeck wide on this near side, cuts in field, receives the ball back. Sunderland defending well, 3 versus 3 on this near side at the moment. Whiffer's forwards. He's forced to go back to Milner. It was a poor pass. He's not had the best first 8.5 minutes, Whiffer, the right back. Milner did well to recover the situation there, and Brighton switched things from right to left across the halfway line, attacking that goal away to our right in the sunshine. They're on the attack here.
Ball
with Minte, in it goes, and the goalkeeper's recovered that really well. It was an excellent ball in from Minte in the first place into the 6 yards area, and the goalkeeper Elborg did really well to keep that out.
Yeah, they work it well. Brighton down that left hand side, you see Minte makes the run in behind, it's fed into him. Dan Ballard gets dragged out of the middle. It's a lovely ball in. It beats Omar Alderete, and he's 4 yards out there. It's point blank, and just having to see it back. Elborg with the right boot there, turns it behind for the corner. And Brighton, they can't believe they're not a goal to the good. Say Hinchelwood
should have scored.
Should have scored, really, yeah.
Hinchelwood should have scored, but Elborg with an excellent save, getting on the end of that Minter cross, which was an excellent delivery in the first place. Brighton with their first corner of the game in the 10th minute. It's going to be an in-swinger into the 6 yards area. It's loose. Nobody's really dealt with this yet. Bobbling around. Can anybody take charge of the situation? Shot's going to go in from the penalty spot by Hinchelwood. Sunderland eventually scramble it to the 18 yards line. Nobody wants to take charge. Shot goes in wide from Gross from 18 yards out, with the goalkeeper beaten that time.
Well, it's like under-8s football in the penalty box there, isn't it? They couldn't clear it, Sunderland. It's dropped around. They're having 3 or 4 players around it. I think as it drops eventually, well, it's a poor header from Brian Brobby. He just pops it back towards the penalty spot. I think Lewis Dunk has a go, and then Dan Ballard can't deal with it. He can't clear it. And eventually it's stabbed there just past the left-hand side post, isn't it? Pascal Gross, yeah. Oh, it just grazes the outside of the post there. Hands on his face, can't believe he hasn't scored. 2 big opportunities early on for Brighton. So
Gross with the shot should have scored, and then Hinchelwood on the end of that Minte cross definitely should have scored, but somehow it's still Sunderland 0, Brighton 0, but the pre-match optimism from the supporters very much taking a bit of a dent in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, as I said, they started bright, Sunderland first 5 minutes or so, a couple of set pieces. Delivery wasn't the best, but yeah, and then Brighton were a little bit edgy at the back with their passing.
Long ball downfield, comes off a Brighton head, and Sunderland have it wide on the left with Talby. Couple of step overs, right foot onto his left, takes it to the byline. Can he beat Weaver this time? No, he can't. We criticised Weaver a few moments ago. That was a good interception. Terrible clearance out though, gives it straight back to Sunderland in the form of Diarra in the midfield, and Sunderland will build again. Alderete forwards, moves the ball to his right. Hertraud is still up there. Sunderland on the attack, wide on the right. Can the cross be delivered? It's low in towards the penalty spot, high in the air, not dealt with, and the shot's going to come in, and it's cleared off the line somehow to deny Talby. Nobody took charge for Brighton at the back. It fell to Talby with his left foot and ended up ricocheting into the gloves of goalkeeper Verbruggen.
Yeah, that all comes about from Whitford, as you say. Initially 1v1 against Talby, does really well, and then he plays a bizarre pass across his 18-yard box, gives it back to Sunderland, and then they work it well again down the right-hand side. Chris Rigg fires a ball in, drops to Talby. We're right behind the line of the strike. It's going in that far corner, and I think it's Lewis Dunk back on his goal line behind his goalkeeper. Does really well with the block.
Dunk with the block. Verbruggen plucked it out of the air. It was unorthodox, but it worked to keep this one somehow at Sunderland 0, Brighton 0. Really lively start. We were saying we were worried about a similar start to the Fulham game a few weeks ago. Absolutely not here. It's been lively at both ends, somehow still goalless. Brighton will feel they should have 2. Sunderland will definitely feel they should have 1 there. Goals flying in elsewhere. Reading 1, Plymouth 1 in League 1. Crewe 0, Walsall 1 in League 2. And Stevenage 1, Wimbledon 0, also in League 1. Latest scores. Goalless in the other Premier League 3 o'clock game at Turf Moor. Burnley 0, Bournemouth 0. Here, somehow goalless, but we're still trying to work out how. As the ball's played down the Brighton right. Gomez will give chase. Hume will go back to goalkeeper Elborg, takes his time with his pass out. It's a poor pass, and it goes straight to Brighton, who come forwards down the right this time with Weaver. It's been sloppy in the midfield for both teams, but as a result, it's making it a really entertaining game.
Yeah, we were hoping for that, as you say there, and Brighton should have had 2 goals, shouldn't they? And then Sunderland hitting back and clearing off the line there, as you say, popped up into the gloves of Verbruggen. But it's just a little bit careless on the passes in there. As you say, Granit Xhaka, bags of experience, that one there, ball fed into him from Elborg, just turns possession over again.
And here they come again with Hinchelwood, who should have scored a few moments ago. Pulls the ball back, 25 yards out, it's dead centre. Welbeck with a chance, takes the deflection, takes the pace off it, and the goalkeeper Elborg will make a more routine save than he was expecting to.
Yeah, it's one of those, isn't it, when we're watching it here, but just, 13 minutes gone, you think this is certainly not ending 0-0 this afternoon. So both teams slogging away at each other with some scruffy football in between.
Well, we mentioned at the start of the commentary, Brighton looking for their first win at this ground and their first win on Wearside since 1981. They'll fancy their chances given the very, very open nature in which this game has been played. They've lost it here though, and Diarra's coming forwards, took too much time to make his mind up over what he wanted to do and ran straight into a Dunk-sized wall.
He did, yeah, heavy touch, wasn't it? Dropped to him his 1v1 there, driving him back, Lewis Dunk towards his own goal, and just got away from Habib Diarra and allowed Lewis Dunk to step in and take it off his toes.
14 gone. Sunderland attack therefore breaks down, and such is the way this game's been played at the moment. That means Brighton will take their turn to do the same thing. It's Van Hecker ball forwards, Weaver in field, Gross, now Hinchelwood on the stretch, can he poke it through towards Welbeck? He can't that time. He got Welbeck making a run, he got Minte making a run as well, couldn't pick out either of them. Sunderland will defend, pass the ball around inside their own half before trying to dispatch downfield. They go all the way back to the green/turquoise wearing Elborg, plays the ball to this near side where Siddiqui is fouled, and Sunderland will have a free kick in their left back area. Quarter of an hour gone, Danny. What are you making of what we're seeing? It's intriguing.
Yeah, I think the main point is, as we say there, we can't believe it's still 0-0. It's quite an enjoyable game so far. As you say there, Brighton had the better opportunities, and either side of that really has been some loose play, certainly at the back from a Brighton perspective. Lewis Dunk, Van Hecke, the goalkeeper, all been a little bit loose in possession, and Sunderland guilty in the middle of the park as well.
Hinchelwood with the game's best chance. Minter with the cross. Found Hinchelwood on the 6 yards line, just the keeper to beat if you've joined us late, and the goalkeeper made an excellent block. Hinchelwood only 20, got the winner against Brentford back in November. That's his only goal, but he'll be out there in the midfield at the moment, Hinchelwood, thinking this should be 1-0 and it should be my name on the score sheet.
Yeah, massive, wasn't it? It's one of those you give credit to the goalkeeper, sort of point blank reaction save, isn't it, with his right foot, but as you say there, he'll still be thinking of that opportunity. It's almost one of those before the ball comes in, he's thinking about his celebration, I think, but you've got to give credit to Elborg as well. Stood up strong and got the big size 9 in the way.
Brighton go back to Verbruggen, hopeful ball downfield. At one stage I thought it was going to be hopeless, and it has ended up going to Alderete. He's going to shoot from a long, long way out there. And when I say a long, long way, I'm talking about 35, 40 yards. It was on target from the centre half, but it was a very routine save for Verbruggen.
Yeah, got a little bit excited. He does well initially, steps in front of Minte, gets the strike away, doesn't catch it flush, and it bounces 2 or 3 times, and it's comfortable for Bart Verbruggen.
Big goal at the bottom of the Championship. Leicester looking for back-to-back wins ahead against QPR. They beat Bristol City at home midweek. Oxford looked like they were going to beat Charlton in one of the 12:30s earlier. Charlton with that late equaliser, so the game ended 1-1. But Leicester ahead through Jordan James. Leicester 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0 at the King Power. Brighton on the attack here down the centre with Welbeck. Ball out to the left. Minter inside the penalty area here. Opportunity for Brighton to the byline. Cross goes in. It's loose inside the 6 yards area. Ball rolled back. Can anybody get a shot away? It's going to go in from the edge of the area that time from Kadioglu. It's blocked, but Sunderland can't get it clear again. On the attack once more, Brighton towards the back post. Gomez craning his neck, trying to get on the end of the cross. Couldn't do so, and it falls this time for Weaver on this near side. Yeah, both teams guilty of very, very questionable defending here.
Down that left-hand side, they look dangerous. Brighton, I say Minte's been involved 2 or 3 times there. That one, he goes past Ballard, almost in again. Brighton
tried the through ball here towards Welbeck, and then there's a little bit of miscommunication between goalkeeper and defender, Elborg and Hume, but eventually Elborg comes and smothers, bowls the ball out dead centre to Diarra, and now he dribbles the ball towards halfway. Sunderland 0, Brighton 0 in what's been an incredibly open and entertaining first 17 minutes at the Stadium of Light. Norwich ahead against Preston in the Championship. Norwich 1, Preston 0. Ali Ahmed with the goal there at Carrow Road. If you want a fact about Carrow Road, it is a long, long, long way from the Stadium of Light where we are here. Long, long way. Sunderland still with the ball inside their own half at the moment, over on the far side. Riggs out there looking for options, and his only one, such is the way he's being marked, is to go back to his goalkeeper. But Sunderland patient with their build-up this time. They'll be feeling the pressure a little bit from their supporters. Lost their last 2 here against Liverpool and Fulham, their only home league defeats this season. They'll be desperately wanting to make sure it doesn't become 3 in a row, especially considering that the massive mess they made of the FA Cup game last Sunday. Yeah,
I say that record for so long, didn't they? And then to go back-to-backs here as well, and and followed it up last week on the road. Albeit, you say, you go to Ellen Road and get the 3 points for that penalty from Habib Diarra, where Sunderland haven't been great on the road this season. But yeah, certainly 9 games to go this season. They want to finish strong. You know, if you're optimistic, you maybe look at stringing 3-4 wins together. You could push for Europe, but I think this season was all about consoling your position in the Premier League, and they've certainly done that this season, Sunderland, so far. You know, I can't see him dropping off enough where the likes of Leeds and obviously West Ham, there's too much to do for those sides down there, and Spurs as well.
Sunderland on the attack, down the left with Talby, gets to the edge of the area, then checks, cuts inside on his right foot, looking for options, rolls the ball across to the far side where Herr-Trauder was waiting, forwards from the back, cross comes in from the right, should be dealt with by Brighton, far side of the penalty area, and is high, anywhere will do, from that Gomez clearance. It was that high, it came down with a bit of snow on it. And eventually the ball will go out into touch over on the far side for a Sunderland throw.
I'm going to have to mention it again, Lee. That's 3 times. If you've got a brave winger at the far post here who wants to go and get himself a goal, Chemsdean Talby could have had a hat-trick this afternoon. Again, Habib Diarra stands a lovely ball up there to the far side of the 6-yard box, and he's on his heels. It's a free header for Whiffer at the far post just to glance it clear. But go and attack the ball. You've got to run on him, be big and brave, and go and get yourself a goal.
You do wonder what's up with him, Talby, because he's getting into some incredibly good positions. Only 20 years of age, joined from Club Bruges in the summer. 3 goals so far this season, 1 here against Burnley. So he's not had the worst first season in English football, and he's going to receive the ball here in a moment. But instead, Alderete decides to go inside to the far more experienced Xhaka. And now Alderete, forwards from the back, chip ball into the penalty area left side, looking for the run of Diarra, but it goes all the way through to Bart Verbruggen. 20 minutes gone exactly. Sunderland 0, Brighton 0 here on Sports Extra 2.
Yeah, and it just feels like the game's settling down a little bit now, doesn't it? Sunderland having 5 minutes of possession there. But again, Habib Diarra makes the run into the box. It's a lovely little clip ball from Omar Alderete into his feet there, and it's a loose touch, and it just sails through to Bart Verbruggen. Brighton come again.
Ball loose on halfway at the moment, and Sunderland able to win it back. Couple of goals to tell you about in League One. Reading lead Plymouth Argyle by 2-1, so 3 goals in the first 18 minutes in that particular game. And it's Mansfield 0, Barnsley 1. I did Mansfield in the FA Cup in the early game last Saturday on 5 Live against Arsenal. One of the best games I've covered all season, and you wondered if Mansfield would take some momentum from that. Didn't do too bad midweek, but behind at the moment early on at home to Barnsley. Brighton have the ball with Gomez, third of the way inside the Sunderland half, goes back to the halfway line. 0-0 between the two teams here on Sports Extra 2. 0-0 over on Sports Extra. Burnley Bournemouth, second half of that game will be available on 5 Live as well. It's currently Ireland Scotland on 5 Live, final day of the Six Nations. Brighton go long from right to left, offside flag goes up on this near side, approaching the midway point of the first half.
Yeah, it's interesting as well with Minter coming into the side this afternoon as well. Obviously Diego Gomez, who hasn't really got into the game down below us so far, whether Minter was going to come in on this right hand side, because generally, he's left-footed and everybody these days plays with the inverted wingers, but he's got that left hand side berth this afternoon, and 2 or 3 times, as I say, he's sharp, isn't he, over 5 yards, and he's put 2 wonderful balls in. The one for Hinshelwood, which he should have scored from, and that one as well a couple of minutes ago where he went past Dan Ballard, got to the byline and pulled the ball back, and it scrambled clear eventually. But if I'm, from Brighton's perspective, go and get him on the ball as much as you can, up against Gertrude or dragging Dan Ballard out of the middle where a big centre-back doesn't want to go 1v1 with a quick winger.
Yeah, he has looked threatening so far in this game. Brighton's number 11. Just the 1 goal for them, though, so far this season. That was in the game against Spurs back in September. Not playing like a player who's only scored 1 goal so far. He's been creative. Welbeck at the moment, ball played forwards towards the run of Minter, but Sunderland able to win it back, and it's with Xhaka in the midfield, and now here they come moving forwards. Diarra over the top. Robbie's first touch was far too heavy. Brighton go back to their goalkeeper Verbruggen, who does really well to deal with what wasn't the best pass back in the first place. It's cleared away, and Brighton will pick the ball up over on the far side. Sunderland able to do well though and recover the situation with Rigg. Couple of excellent touches on his right foot. Ball pulled back, chance for Talby, leaves it, opportunity, his shot goes in. It's blocked and Siddiqui is denied, but Sunderland will come forwards again with Trey Hume. And now Siddiqui, who's still on the attack, down the left, beats Gomez into the area, couple of step overs, ball on his right foot, shrugs off one challenge, ball balloons up into the air, and the goalkeeper comes to make the claim. That was an excellent chance for Noah Siddiqui. Pull back, not ideal.
Yeah, just having a look at the build-up again down there. Chris Rigg, he's actually started the game really well. He goes past his man down that right-hand side, cuts it back, and I think Chemsdean Talby, he's got to pull the trigger. He's coming away from goal, but it's on his favoured right foot, and he just allows the ball to roll across him, kept possession, but the opportunity was there for him to pull the trigger and try and find that bottom corner.
Siddiqui yet to score since joining from Union Saint-Gilloise. Should have scored there, no two ways about it, but instead 23 and a half gone, still Sunderland 0, Brighton 0. Deadlock's been broken in League One at the DW. Wigan 1, Bradford 0, and it's Wycombe 0, Luton 1 as well. Goals flying in League One, none in the 2 Premier League 3 o'clock kickoffs yet so far. Sheffield United have had Femi Sariki sent off there, professional foul, straight red card, so they're down to 10 men in the Championship. Here in the Premier League, Brighton have the ball ball with Weaver on this near side. Hinchelwood lets it run. Offside flag there, 4 stays down, and now making the run into the area is Welbeck on his right foot. Checks, pulls the ball back, and Hinchelwood, not for the first time, on the end of a cross, hits it straight at the keeper when he should have done much, much better.
Yeah, do you know what? The Sunderland fans are happy there. It's good play from Brighton. They build up from the back there. The linesman initially puts his flag up, and then it's a little dummy, and it's into the path of Welbeck. He puts his flag down again. And he puts the brakes on it. Again, the chances there is that Hinchelwood that's coming onto it doesn't get enough on it, and it's comfortable into the gloves of Melker Elborg.
He was too trigger happy with his flag there, and it caused a little bit of confusion. There would have been plenty of Sunderland complaints had Hinchelwood found the back of the net there. It was right from the referee, but too trigger happy with his flag. Here come Brighton. Hinchelwood again inside the D, moves it to the right to the top scorer. Welbeck playing against his former club, and now Gomez back to Weaver. Nobody wants to put a shot in for Brighton at the moment. It's with James Milne in the dead centre, 30 yards out. Sunderland have got everybody bar Brobby back in position now behind the ball as Brighton move the ball to their left. Dunk forwards from the back. Here's Minte to the byline. Cross goes in towards the 6 yards area. Well tidied up by Ballard, and Brighton will have their second corner of the game.
Yeah, Sunderland fans getting a little bit restless. They want the side to get up 5-10 yards, go and put pressure on the Brighton players, just passing it around the edge of the box, looking for that opening. And once again, Minte does well on this occasion. Dan Ballard getting across the near post, puts it behind for the corner. But I would say it looks like it's there for Brighton on the counter-attack. It's open, and if they're a little bit cuter with their passes and move it a little bit quicker, they're going to get opportunities here.
But such is the way the game is being played, Danny, I think you're spot on, but then at the same time you could say exactly the same about Sunderland. It's there for them on the counter.
They have, almost a basketball match, isn't it, as you say then. Neither side really dominating possession. It's getting turned over time and time again, and say it makes for a good game, albeit we're still at 0-0, 25 minutes gone.
Brighton in swinger from the far side, their left, in it goes, flicked on by Hinchelwood at the near post, drops for Van Hecker, scrambled away, nearly fell for Van Hecker a second time. Sunderland able to put their laces through it and clear towards halfway, and then that is not the best pass bag I've ever seen by Kadioglu towards Verbruggen, deals with the pressure, he moves it to Milner, who's come over to cover at right back. Brighton looking to come forwards on the counter, and they might just do that. Hinchelwood, ball over the top, can Welbeck get on the end of it? No, he can't. That will be tidied up at the back by Hertrauder for Sunderland, high into the centre circle, but Brighton are able to win it back unmarked in the centre circle, and then Sadiki's taken one in the face, so the game's been stopped and everybody can just take a breath.
Yeah, as you say again there, Brighton, there's big spaces. There's one or two Sunderland players, they want to go and press, and then the midfield's not quite linking up with them. There's a massive space. We've just seen this one back. Yeah, it's Van Hecker, isn't it? Decent strike, and again it's scrambled clear by Sunderland, but set pieces coming in. It's carnage back there.
Just seen a replay of that ball catching Sadiki straight in the kisser, I think is the informal expression.
Get the smelling salts, go old school, isn't it? Count the fingers, get the smelling salts out, see if he's good to go.
Sheffield United down to 10 men, and now a goal down at St Andrews. Marvin Duksh has got it. Birmingham 1, Sheffield United 0, and another big goal in the West Midlands in the same division at the bottom of the Championship. West Brom lead against Hull. Josh Madger's got it. West Brom 1, Hull 0. Earlier full-time score in the 12:30. Oxford 1, Charlton 1, and then a couple of surprise scorelines at the top of the Championship in the 12:30s. Coventry losing at home to Southampton by 2-1, and Middlesbrough only able to manage a draw against Bristol City. They're trying their best to make a mess of that, Middlesbrough. That ended 1-1, not too far away from where we're sitting here at the moment. The good news for Sunderland is Sadiki's back on his feet, he's received treatment, he's on this near side just taking a drink, and the game will restart in just a second. It is a game, Danny Collins alongside me, that is incredibly difficult to call just because of the open and quite scrappy nature, you have to say, that it's been played, but it makes great viewing for the neutral.
Well, it's one of those, isn't it? You wouldn't be surprised if it was 3-3 or 4-1 either way at this moment in time. I would say Brighton have probably had the better opportunities, but Sunderland have had one or two openings themselves. But yeah, as you say, for a 0-0 and the neutral, looking at it online, I think that's quite a dour game, but it's certainly been anything other than that.
And when Danny says Sunderland have had a few openings, Tolby especially has had a few openings. Here they come on the attack at the moment. Riggs over on the far side, ball's worked into the centre circle. And now it finds Sadiki, who's just come back on the pitch, receiving some treatment after that whack in the face. The aforementioned Talby has it, beats Gomez. Now he's running at Weaver, leaves Weaver for dead. Good ball into the penalty area, might drop for Talby again. Challenge went in, Sunderland player went down, keeper smothers the ball. Brighton players aren't happy. And I think we're going to carry on as we were, Danny Collins.
Yeah, Chris Rigg getting dragged back to his feet from the two big centre-backs there, but it's good from Talby. A couple of step overs, then he goes inside, gets a little bit lucky on the second one. Chris Rigg comes off the opposite flank there, across the 6-yard box, but smothered out of it by the centre-backs coming across.
Here come Brighton on the attack this time. Kadioglu into the penalty area left side. Good looking cross across the 6-yard line. Too much on that. Gomez couldn't get there at the far post, and it goes out for a Sunderland throw in their left back area, as in the Championship, Stoke through Millie and Manhuff lead Watford by a 1-0.
Yeah, just again on that left hand side, that's where all the joy's coming for Brighton, isn't it? If it's not Minty, that time it's Kadioglu getting forward, fizzes a ball across the 6-yard box, but again, no takers for Brighton in the middle. And I think Fabian Herzler down there on the touchline, he's going to be frustrated, the opportunities and the openings that his side have had, that they're perhaps not in front here this afternoon so far.
Now we've got a coming together off the ball here, including the two Brighton centre-backs, Duncan Van Hecke, and who's that for Sunderland?
Granit Xhaka's involved, yeah. Squaring up there with Van Hecke.
Not quite sure what that's all about, but it's involving three people who really, given their level of experience and the number of games they've played, should know better. The referee, Thomas Kirk, has had to step in, and still Xhaka is giving it some. Gross has arrived on the scene to stick in his two penneth. It's Dunk, Gross and Van Hecke, and I'll be honest with you, looking at all of their faces, Xhaka fancies taking on the lot.
He does, he wants the lot. I wonder if he's playing the big brother there, just looking after Chris Rigg a minute ago. Chris Rigg, I think he's 18, 19, still looks about 12, Chris Rigg there, getting dragged up by the centre-back, so maybe he's just fighting his corner for him. I'd say just having another word with Lewis Dunk there.
He's not the biggest, Granit Xhaka, but just looking at the annoyed expression on his face, I wouldn't fancy taking him on, I wouldn't.
Yeah, it'd be quite handy and a little bit of a dust-up, I think, Granit, wouldn't he? Yeah.
Wearing shirt number 34 years of age now, Granit Xhaka. They've missed him while he's been out injured at the beginning of this calendar year, back in the starting 11 in the league today, and he's already having an impact one way or another. It's 0-0 though, just past the half-hour mark here at the Stadium of Light on Sports Extra 2. It's still 0-0 in the other 3 o'clock kick-off in the top flight between Burnley and Bournemouth on Sports Extra. The rugby between Ireland and Scotland available right now over on 5 Live. Burnley, Bournemouth will move to 5 Live at the conclusion of the rugby. 5:30, commentary of Arsenal against Everton. Sports Extra will have Chelsea against Newcastle, then updates into the rugby later, France against England, of West Ham, Man City. Busy old sporting Saturday on 5 Live, Sports Extra and BBC Sounds. Ball loose in the midfield at the moment. Brighton take charge of the situation, and that's a late tackle going in on Gross, and he'll do well there. Diarra to avoid a booking. Referee just has a quiet word, and Brighton take a quick free kick. Milner to Gross to the far side to Kadioglu, peeling in from the left on his right foot. Game just comes to a standstill while Kadioglu assesses the situation. Dunk back to him. He's got Gross ahead of him, Kadioglu down the left, but he peels inside once more, and now Milner, and now Dunk, and now Milner again on his right foot, dead centre, moves it to Van Hecke. Really intriguing game this for a 0-0 involving two mid-table teams who you reckon haven't really got all that much to play for. Cross in from the left, looking for Hinchelwood. Goalkeeper comes, not a convincing piece of goalkeeping that. Flaps at it, falls for Weaver on this near side. His first touch was nearly a tackle, invites a tackle, and it goes out for a Brighton throw by the corner flag. Yeah,
I think he's just got to be brave there, the goalkeeper. He comes, he's not under any real pressure, just come and pluck it out of the sky. I think he punches, he opts to punch it, punches it straight to the Brighton player there, and you see one or two Sunderland fans weren't happy with that decision from Melker Elborg.
Top of League One earlier, Lincoln beat Stockport 3-1. Cardiff responding at Exeter. Exeter 0, Cardiff 1. Ruben Colwill with the goal there. Also in that division, Doncaster 1, Blackpool 0. Here, Sunderland 0, Brighton 0. 12 minutes to go until half-time. Brighton with the ball in the Sunderland half, and it's the Brighton captain, Lewis Dunk, returning from suspension, who has it. Van Hecke under a little bit of pressure there. Gomez on this near side, scored in there. Last away game, Brighton, that win at Brentford that I watched a few weeks ago. He was excellent in that game, Gomez. Not had quite the same impact in this one so far. Completely different type of game, though, as Brighton go long from the back. Ball hits the referee, so the game will be stopped, and the referee will inevitably get a few sarcastic comments from a few players down there.
Yeah, it was a loose touch from the ref, wasn't it? Yeah, I think James Milner just having a word with him. Smiles down there. But, yeah, just see from here up all our vantage points up on the gantry, and I think Sunderland are unsure whether to go and press. You can see 2 or 3 players are releasing, and then almost it's the final one there, which like Chris Rigg on the far side, or whether it's Chemstein Talby below us, they're unsure whether to go, and then that just allows Brighton to pop around them, and you can hear one or two fans in the ground, unrest amongst the fans really, saying, come on, let's go and press Brighton, put pressure. We've seen early on where we were getting a little bit of joy, but they're just unsure at this moment in time, one or two Sunderland players.
Sunderland nil, Brighton nil. Ball long from Verbruggen downfield, comes off a Sunderland defender's head and goes all the way through to Melker Elborg. Big goal at the bottom of League One. Burton are ahead at Northampton. Barnet lead Newport 1-0 in League Two. Sunderland on the attack here down the centre with Granit Xhaka over halfway, 25 yards out. Might fancy a shot here, Xhaka. He doesn't. He gives it to Talby instead. First touch was too heavy, as you can tell by the moans and the groans from the Sunderland supporters around us. That was an excellent run from their captain, Xhaka, nearly half the pitch, and then Talby's touch, his first touch, the ball landed about 6 yards away from him.
Yeah, do you know what? It's good from Granit Xhaka. Picks the ball up 10 yards inside his own half, drives forward. Mintis trying to get back, he cuts across him so he can't make a challenge, and he's in the D. I'm just thinking, on your favoured left foot, pull the trigger. He feeds it out left to Chemstein Talby, and the problem is he wants to come inside on his right foot. He takes it inside, he runs into traffic, 2 or 3 Brighton players, opportunity goes away, and as you say, late groans around the Stadium of Light.
And you're dead right, Danny. He took the ball, Talby, outside of his right foot to try and cleverly work it onto his right foot for the shot, but his touch was so poor, let him down. Would he have been better just giving that a bit of welly on his left?
Exactly that, yeah. Allow it across your body on your left foot. Yes, it's his weaker left foot, but come on now, we're talking a 10-yard ball into the, getting a strike away there, pull the trigger.
And it's another Talby chance that goes begging. Are they going to get made to pay this time as well? Bet tries the through ball towards Minte. He thought he was fouled there by the backtracking Ballard. Referee not interested. Elborg comes and gets the ball, and Ballard has gone down, so the game is going to get stopped. Elsewhere, Cardiff have got a second, and Colwell's got a second at St James's Park. Exeter 0, Cardiff 2, and a big goal in the Scottish Premiership. Celtic behind at home to Motherwell. Celtic 0, Motherwell 1. Here 0-0, 9 minutes to go until half time on Sports Extra 2, and we're quite enjoying this one for a goalless game.
Yeah, it's been a good game. You see there, Minte, he knows he's got the run on Dan Ballard, just trying to thread it in behind him, and he just steps across him. The big centre back does enough on Minte, just holding I think it's his left hamstring he's feeling there, Dan Ballard, but he's back on his feet, should be okay.
Big game at the top of League 2. MK Dons are 1-0 up at Swindon, and in the Championship, Hull a goal down at West Brom, and now a man down because Charlie Hughes has been sent off there. So West Brom 1, 10-man Hull 0. Here, goalless. Turf Moor, goalless. 3 more Premier League games to come later on this busy Saturday, as I mentioned a few moments ago. Sunderland have the ball midway inside the Brighton half. Diarra, ball out to the right. Herr Trauder, and now Chris Rigg, who's been busy on the right. We've mentioned the poor touches of Talby. Whenever he's had the ball on the opposite side, Rigg, he has looked absolutely excellent. Not had enough of it though, probably in the dangerous areas for Sunderland fans' liking. Ball forwards from the back. Alderete, Brobby with his back to goal, pulls it back. I mean, Trey Hume was trying an ambitious shot there. The left back, dead centre from about 30 yards out. Yeah, it was blocked and it span out for a Sunderland throw, which they've taken quickly. Actually, Danny Xhaka's got it over on the far side, plays it forwards to Rigg. Was that a foul? Referee again not interested. Thomas Kirk trying to not interfere, and now here comes Sunderland again. Ball to the right, Diarra to the byline, low cross is blocked, good defending by Dunk, read that from Diarra straight away. Loose ball falls for Minte, who clears high towards halfway, but Ballard's got time and space to bring it down. Sunderland will come again, and it's their turn to just take the ascendancy for a few minutes.
Yeah, just having to go again. It opened up for Granit Xhaka. He tries to be clever, a little reverse pass, too much on it for Habib Diarra to the byline, and the cross got cut out in the middle. But they come again, Sunderland.
They do. Down the right this time. Can they whip in across? It's back with Xhaka, back in the starting 11, plays the ball forwards, looking for Herr Trauder, who was forwards from the back. Brighton able to intercept again. Both teams defending reasonably well here, considering the scrappy nature of the game in the midfield. Alderete plays it forwards, and now it finds Talby on this near side, the Sunderland left. Tries to beat Gomez, can't beat Gomez. Gomez will tackle, work it onto his right foot, play the ball back to Whiffer, and then he finds Gomez, and he will clear from right to left on the diagonal. But it's not a great clearance. Herr Trauder's able to intercept, pulls it back to Ballard, who, if he wants to come forwards from centre half, has got plenty of space to move into. Instead gives it to Xhaka, who was quickly closed down, and now Xhaka will look to carry it to the right. Through ball, he's onside here, Diarra, to the byline, first time, cross goes in towards Brobby, well intercepted by Van Hecke, sent up into the air by Milner on the 18 yards line, headed forwards by Kadioglu away from danger, but it'll be picked up by Xhaka, and Sunderland will come again. 6 minutes to go until half-time. Sunderland on top at the moment in a game that, considering how entertaining we've said it has been for a goalless game, it needs a goal now, Danny, you feel, before the break?
Before the break, yeah, and opportunity again, I've said from Brighton's point of view, down their left-hand side they've been good, well Sunderland down their right have been excellent as well. Diarra fizzes a lovely ball in, near post, probably gets across his man, but it's a lovely sort of sliding challenge, isn't it? Van Hecke does enough, gets across him, gets the studs to the ball, and it remains at 0-0.
Norwich 2, Preston 0 in the Championship. Preston have made a right old mess of it since Christmas, and at the top of League 2, Cambridge have got a second at home to Gillingham. Cambridge 2, Gillingham 0. Ball in the Brighton penalty area here with Verbruggen, who's going to get closed down here. They want a lot of time playing out from the back here, Brighton. Van Hecke does well to keep the ball in play, considering it wasn't a very good ball to him from his goalkeeper. It's loose on the halfway line now. Sunderland have it. They go back to Elborg, and they will build again from the back with their captain Xhaka. And now Hume, and now Xhaka again. Nice 1-2. Space to move into. Ball with Sunderland over on the far side there, right. First time cross goes in towards Rigg. Will fall for Rigg, overhead and wide. It was inventive, it was creative. He got his back to goal there, Rigg. Went for the overhead, wide of the bottom corner.
Yeah, and he deserves a goal, Chris Rigg. He's been bright this first half, as I say, playing in that unnatural position out on the right hand side, and they worked it really well from the back there, Sunderland, and it drops to him. The only thing is, it drops on an awkward one on his favoured left foot, so he's got to readjust his body. He's trying to find this far corner, too much on it, past the post, but lovely build-up play through the middle of the pitch from Sunderland. Granit Xhaka, Trey Hume involved.
Well, Rigg yet to score this season. Had he found the back of the net that way, that would have been a goal to absolutely remember. I quite like something like that. Young player,
yeah,
a little bit of arrogance.
He is, and I've coached Chris Rigg a few years back when he was 15 years of age, coming in with the under-18s at Sunderland, and he's nothing phases him. You know, he hasn't surprised me this season the way he's gone about the Premier League. You know, as I said earlier, he looks about 12-year-old still, but he just gets on with it. He'll be frustrated he hasn't had opportunities in recent weeks, but he's certainly taken his opportunity this afternoon.
Here they come again down the right. Sunderland moving forwards. It is Hertrauder, shoots himself, but Verbruggen makes the save at his near post, and Sunderland have a corner.
Yeah, it opens up for him there, Hertrauder, and why not pull the trigger against his countrymen there? There's a few Dutch out there this afternoon, and stepping in from right back, right hand side of the box, was he 17 yards out, tries to do. Verbruggen at his near post, catches it quite flush, and he puts it behind the stopper for the corner.
Xhaka to take it over on the far side. Celtic level at home to Motherwell. Luton 2 up at Wickham. Can Sunderland break the deadlock here with 3.5 minutes to go until half-time at the Stadium of Light? It's going to be an in-swinger from the Sunderland captain on his left foot. He's got 6 to aim for in the 6 yards area here. 2 waiting to pounce inside the D. Xhaka's delivery on top of Verbruggen. It's cleared to the edge of the penalty area. Siddiqui plays it back across the 18 yards line. The referee has seen something. What? I'm not quite sure. I think it's a late blow for a foul on Verbruggen.
Yeah, just wonder, I think it's, as you say, it's the in-swinger, isn't it, on top of the goalkeeper. Maybe, is it Brian Brobby that's around him? Not sure Sunderland fans are unhappy, 1 or 2 boos in the stadium. Just have a quick look at it back now on our monitor there. Yeah, decent ball, Granit Xhaka on top of the goalkeeper. I'm not sure, I mean,
if anything, the goalkeeper was fouled.
Protected, aren't they, really? But he deals with the situation there for Verbruggen. He punches it clear. I think it's a little bit generous.
I think it's very generous. If anything, he was fouled more by his own defender, Van Hecke.
Yeah.
Actually there, Verbruggen. Anyway, he gets the free kick. He plays it long downfield. It's chested down by Welbeck. Minte dodges the tackle of Ballard. Minte into the area left side. He's going to be forced wide here by Hertrauder. Has the ball gone behind? Assistant referee on this near side says no, but the pullback is poor and goes straight into the gloves of goalkeeper Elborg. 2 minutes to go until half-time. Sunderland 0, Brighton 0. It's also Burnley 0, Bournemouth 0 as well on Sports Extra. This your commentary in full on Sports Extra 2. 2 commentary options at 3 o'clock every single Premier League weekend on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Here, Gross has gone down in the midfield, but it will be a Sunderland free kick when he gets back to his feet.
Yeah, just got himself in a little bit of a tussle, loose bouncing ball between himself and Habib Diarra. Diarra just trying to shield the ball between himself and Pascal Gross, as you say there, trying to fish the ball around him and see where the contact is. A little bit of maybe a little bit of a knee in the private region there.
Yeah, the way the two collided, all I'll say is I wouldn't like the job of the physio in dealing with that particular situation. Sunderland free kick, left side of the centre circle. It's low along the ground to Brobby inside the penalty area, right on the byline now, running down a blind alley, does really well to find his side, their 5th corner of the game as we enter the final minute of the first half.
Yeah, I think Brighton players expecting Granit Xhaka just to hang the ball up to the far post there. It's a clever one, just threaded down the side into Brian Brobby, trying to pin his man, wins the corner for Sunderland.
To be taken on this near side this time by Trey Hume. Been here since 2022, £200,000 buy from Linfield. They've had a good return on that investment here at the Stadium of Light. In swinger to be taken by Hume. Again, 5 or 6 to aim for inside the 6 yards area. They're all on top of Verbruggen, and the way he was last time, I don't blame them. In it goes, across the 6 yards line, headed on, and that's going to be another corner over on the far side. Sunderland finishing this second half strongly. They've been the stronger of the two teams for the last 15 minutes, in fairness, as Leicester are pulled back by QPR. Harvey Vale's got it, set back for Leicester, 1-1. Big game that at the bottom of the Championship. Xhaka with Sunderland's 6th corner of the first half. Plays it short to Rigg, edge of the area, back to his captain, left-footed cross, whipped in, it's deep. Can Hume keep the ball in play? He can, but he heads it back straight into goalkeeper Verbruggen's gloves.
There will be a minimum of 2 minutes.
There you go. 2 minutes to be added on at the end of the first 45, and Sunderland will go in, you feel, the happier of the two teams. Certainly the way the halves progress.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. As I say, that the shock is that it's still 0-0. As you say, both managers will be relatively happy, I think, with creating opportunities. Certainly Brighton, as the away team, will feel that they should be in front, and I probably agree with that from Fabian Herzler's point of view. But yeah, it's been a good game. As you say, we've done Fulham here a few weeks ago. The first half was fairly quiet and dour, wasn't it? But it livened up in the second half. Well, this one at 0-0 has been anything but.
They try a through ball here, looking for the run of Welbeck from Gross. Sunderland stayed alert, able to intercept. They play a long ball clear. Brobby was waiting for it to fall to him. It never did. Brighton were able to intercept, move it to the right to Gomez, and now Gross, and they've got one last attack in first half stoppage time. Gross's ball is poor. Sunderland able to intercept through Xhaka, and he gets the ball up to the halfway line to Brian Brobby. Brighton's 2 best chances, both falling for Hinchelwood off good crosses, and he hit both of them straight at the goalkeeper. Certainly the first, an excellent save for Elborg, and then the best opportunities that Sunderland have had have fallen to Tolby inside the penalty area, but he's not been able to find a way past Verbruggen either, as we go into the final 30 seconds of stoppage time here. Half-time whistles blowing around the country. BBC Sport website and app to stay up to date with the very latest. Here, Elborg has it, will look to bowl the ball out quickly. Needs to be quick here, otherwise he's going to get penalised. Kicks the ball long and high out of his hands. It's high on the halfway line. That's just the one thing you would say about Sunderland. As strong as they have finished this first half, they've not really tested Verbruggen as much as they would have liked. No. Certainly via their main striker, Brian Brobby. Yeah,
that's fair. I'm just wondering, actually, how Brian Brobby's feeling and Granit Xhaka both coming in. They've had a couple of weeks out, and it's been quite an open game, and that can certainly sap the lungs gone at the energy tank. But there's the half-time whistle to go and get some refreshments. Yeah. And as you say, I think it's been an enjoyable first half. You can hear the Sunderland fans now applauding the side off at the break. And I just mentioned it there. I think both managers will be pleased going in at half-time with their team talks and thinking, do you know what, it's probably there for us to win, and both will be saying that, which bodes well for the second half.
Both 3 o'clock games in the Premier League that we've got for you live on BBC Sounds this afternoon. Goalless at Turf Moor, Burnley 0, Bournemouth 0. And here at the Stadium of Light on Sports Extra 2, we've got full second half commentary to come. But at the break, Sunderland 0, Brighton 0. Welcome back to the Stadium of Light. Two teams just retaking the field for the start of the second half. During the interval, myself and Danny Collins have done a full-on gym session, otherwise known as making it down from this gantry to the press room on the bottom floor and back again. Obviously it's science, so it never will change, but it does not actually get any shorter, does it?
No, it doesn't. No, it's a good thigh burner, isn't it, as you say it, with a toilet stop on top of that as well. And yeah, quick turnaround, coffee, little brownie as well, but we're ready to go, second half. And as I say, the only thing that was missing from that first half was a goal or two, wasn't it? But wasn't through a lack of trying. I think both sides have given it a good go. Keepers making 1 or 2 saves. Certainly Elberg was the busier of the keepers, and Hinselwoods was perhaps the biggest opportunity for Brighton to take the lead, but let's have another 45 minutes like that.
Neither Regis Lebris or Fabian Hürzeler have opted to make a change at half-time, so it's as you were for the start of the second half. Sunderland get us started via the right boot of Habib Diarra. They're kicking from left to right in the second 45. Brighton therefore kicking from right to left. It's Premier League football for you here on 5 Sports Extra 2 via the BBC Sounds app. Sunderland 0, Brighton 0. Danny Collins, former Sunderland defender, and myself, Lee Blakeman, your commentary team. Brighton have the ball with the experienced Milner. Long and high down the right, will be tidied up at the back by Ballard, positively a youngster at the age of 26 compared to James Milner, and Sunderland send the ball back to where it came from. Long and high. Was that a hold on Brobby? No, says referee Thomas Kirk, who, rightly or wrongly, has been keen to keep his whistle away from his mouth all afternoon, decides to let that hold go as well.
Yeah, I think he's gone okay, and you see those situations time and time again with the type of striker that Brobby is. You know, he's backing in. You know, as a former centre-back, you want to hold them under the flight of the ball and see the ball through to your goalkeeper, and that's going to happen. Obviously, the home fans see it differently. They want a free kick, but it gives as good as he gets. Brian Brobby, go back to my day, the likes of Kevin Davis, John Carew, these types of players,
Great players
coming up against these big brutes, and you've got to expect it, you've got to give it as well at the same time.
And having watched you play for Stoke several times, you certainly knew how to give it.
Well, there was a few in our team back then, wasn't there, as well? Yeah, certainly were.
Brighton boxed in at the moment, in right back. They go long down the right, courtesy of Milner. He goes long looking for Welbeck, who's in a battle with Ballard, who started the second half very brightly. Nice, sharp and alert, clears on the turn, and the ball goes out for a Brighton throw on halfway. I'll run through the two lineups for you in just a tick, but it's Brighton on the attack at the moment. Gross to this near side to Kadioglu, lets the ball run under his foot, but he's able to recover the situation. Challenge goes in on him by Rigg, and the throw-in goes the way of Sunderland as well, because it took a deflection off Kadioglu. So Sunderland 4-2-3-1 in front of goalkeeper Elborg. The back four, Hertrauder, Ballard, Alderete and Hume. Then it's Siddiqui and Xhaka. Then Talby, Diarra and Rigg behind Brobby. Brighton, Verbruggen in goal. Wiffer, Van Hecke, Dunk and Kadioglu. Then Milner and Gross. Then Gomez, Hinchelwood and Minte behind main striker and top scorer against his former club here, Danny Welbeck. Xhaka can't make it stick in the midfield, but via a deflection it finds its way to Rigg on this near side, who's bundled off the ball, and it's going to be a free kick to Sunderland, a smidgen of the way inside the Brighton half. Sunderland thought about taking it quickly, but too quickly for Thomas Kirk's liking, and Sunderland will just take their time as Rigg gets back to his feet, just holding the back of his head following that little nudge. Xhaka to take the free kick, lining it up on his left foot, as I say, just a few yards inside the Brighton half on this near side, the Sunderland right, in front of where Fabian Hürzeler is standing. Big black manager's coat on, hands in his pockets. He didn't come in just a jacket, really ill prepared like somebody I can think of. Ball worked infield, and it's played forwards by Trey Hume. Finds its way to the edge of the area. Here's a chance for Brobby, and the shot might go in for Rigg. And Sunderland leads, and out of nothing, Chris Rigg is able to open the scoring with his first goal of the season. Great strike across goal. Goalkeeper Verbruggen dropping to his right, couldn't make the save. Left by Brobby, finished by Rigg. Sunderland 1, Brighton 0.
Yeah, and he's deserved that, Chris Rigg. First half performance was excellent as well, down that right hand side. I said last week at Port Vale, back into the starting lineup, wasn't at it really, didn't enjoy his afternoon. Well, he has this 48 minutes that have gone so far. Seeing the chance back, it actually drops to Brian Brobby, who doesn't pull the trigger, and then Chris Rigg's outside him, just seeing him back, big smile on his face with his first Premier League goal, and he pulls the trigger. It's his weaker right foot. It is ball into the box. They don't deal with it, Brighton. It's a header there. He's onside. Yeah, they're just pausing it. Van Hecke gets himself in a mess, and Brobby, he can't settle on the ball, but to tell you who does, Chris Rigg outside him, excellent on his right foot, pulls the trigger across the goalkeeper there, Verbruggen, into that far side netting. And then they can't get back onto the line. I think Dunk did in the first half, scrambled one clear. That time he doesn't. 1-0 Sunderland.
Offside. Goal does not stand. Well, I mean, that's very tight. The offside has been given against Omar Alderete.
Yeah,
just getting the nod off the media team next to us. Very tight.
Yeah, they paused it after they initially won the header, and it looked like they were looking at Brian Brobby, who was onside. But yeah, Alderete coming back from an offside position.
VAR intervening, offside against Alderete. It's tight, but it's right, and it remains Sunderland 0, Brighton 0. What a special moment that was for Chris Rigg as well, and it's just flashed up now, disallowed on the Vidi printer as well, as Barnsley go 2 up at Mansfield in League One. That's harsh on Rigg, who got such a smile on his face. Brighton on the attack down the other end, ball heading behind for a goal kick. Such a special feeling when you're able to get
off from him, from
a goal like that. You're first of the season, you're first in the Premier League at home, but Omar Alderete just in the build-up offside, and we're going to look at it here.
Yes, he is. Yeah, seen it back. Yeah, because when we seen it the first time, they paused it off after he actually won the header. That one there, you can see he's clearly onside. Lewis dunks deeper, and Van Hecke doesn't deal with it, but it's the initial one. Alderete coming back from an offside position, and it's fairly chalked off. But Chris Rigg, as you say, the emotions there from getting his first Premier League goal and a decent enough strike across the keeper to having it to ruled out for offside.
It was early in the move, but it was just offside nonetheless. Goal doesn't stand. Rigg gutted. Sunderland fans deflated. Brighton fans optimistic, because it's still 0-0, and that's going to be a yellow card for Gomez for a foul on Noah Siddiqui. Pulled him back, no arguments.
Yeah, he did, you can't argue that one. I think Van Hecke is, however, arguing the one a few seconds earlier. He feels he's fouled by Habib Diarra getting back at him. And then you see Siddiqui driving forward. Yeah, just pulls him back there, doesn't he, on his shoulder. And Diego Gomez, you can't argue that one.
Is as obvious a yellow card as you will see all season. 0-0. Yellow card to Gomez. I'll make that the first booking of the match as well. Xhaka with the free kick here, diagonal from left to right. A couple of Sunderland players trying to get there on the stretch, couldn't, and it will be a goal kick to Brighton. The most important thing now is Alderete, who was on the stretch, gets back to his feet. It was his offside that caused the goal to be chalked off. The most important thing now from a Sunderland perspective is they don't let that incident deflate them.
No, exactly that. Yeah, it started really well, the start of this second half. As you say, you think that you're a goal to the good and it's chalked off and it's easy to get deflated, but you don't, you're back on the front foot and they come against Sunderland.
On the attack with Habib Diarra into the area right side, and he miscued the cross completely. He just needed to get the delivery right, in space, right side of the area, and he just scuffed it with the outside of his boot, and it didn't even clear the near post, let alone the far post.
Yeah, he gets it horribly wrong. He's got acres of space as well on this right hand side. Dan Ballard steps in, feeds it into Granit Xhaka, and again there, and he steps in. Oh yeah, he's off balance and he's trying to feed it across. I think Brian Brobby coming across the near post, and he's off balance. He gets it horribly wrong and skews it well wide of the near post.
Brighton here playing out from the back, invited pressure, they've lost it, here's a chance, shot goes in from Brobby from 19 yards over the crossbar, didn't keep his composure. Had he done, for a striker with 5 goals for the season, that would have been 1-0.
Yeah, again, Brighton overplaying out from the back there. Sunderland set the trap and they pop it in, and it's Lewis Dunk gives it away into Brobby, into the D edge of the box, and he puts his laces through it, but he's underneath the ball, sails over the crossbar. And say Sunderland here started really well. Could have been a goal up, obviously chalked off for the offside, and that one there needs a little bit more composure from Sunderland's number 9.
A little bit more, from 19 yards.
Be generous.
That nearly landed in Middlesbrough. that was very uncomposed from the big striker there, Brobby. It goes over the bar. Sunderland have got it back on halfway. Cambridge have got 4 against Gillingham. Cambridge 4, Gillingham 0. Sunderland on the attack again here. Siddiqui with the pullback, Brighton with the clearance, Sunderland with the throw. Cambridge 4, Gillingham 0. And Leicester are in big trouble at the bottom of the Championship. They are 2-1 down at home to QPR, despite leading that game at the King Power at one stage by a goal to 0. Leicester 1, QPR 2. Here's Sunderland 0, Brighton 0. 8 minutes gone in the second half, but like in the first, for a goalless game, it is wide open, and now Hertrauder wipes the ball on his shirt as he gets ready to send in a long throw 7 or 8 yards from the corner flag. In it goes towards the 6 yards area, not dealt with, volleyed up in the air by Van Hecke, only as far as the 18 yards line though. Recovered by Rigg, pulled back by Diarra, cleared by Brighton into the centre circle where Trey Hume has a little bit of time and space, moves the ball to Diarra to his right, and now Xhaka, the captain for Sunderland, started the game today as one of 4 changes made by Regis Lebris from the side that lost in the FA Cup at Port Vale. He goes diagonally from right to left, and via a poor whiff of clearance finds his intended target. Sunderland coming forwards, over on the far side. Whiffer this time will defend, and defend well, and via a little bit of support from Gross, they will clear down the right. Headed on by Welbeck, and now Gomez will get on the end of that. Brighton still just inside their own half at the moment. That's poor from Gomez, runs into trouble. Sunderland will have a free kick as long as it's taken from the right spot. Referee should have let that one go.
Yeah, a little bit quick with the whistle there, wasn't he? It was an opportunity to allow play to continue, but yeah, Brighton haven't got going, have they? Almost 10 minutes into the start of this second half, barely left their half. There was a chance there on the counter-attack 4v3, but they turned possession over once again.
5 Sports Extra 2, Sunderland 0, Brighton 0, one of 2 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League. Over on 5 Live and 5 Sports Extra, it's Burnley-Bournemouth. That is still 0-0. 5:30, commentary on 5 Live, Arsenal-Everton, Sports Extra, Chelsea-Newcastle. Hume charge down here, needs to be careful he doesn't lose out to Minte because he'll be through on goal. Sunderland just about do all right. Alderete's touch is poor, he gives it straight to Welbeck, and now Welbeck is going to send Minte through. Xhaka does well, Xhaka does really well to intercept there and to stop what was a clear counter for Brighton.
Yeah, 1 or 2 Brighton players asking for the free kick there, but he allows the play to go on the referee, which I think was the right decision. You know, Minte's pulled back by Alderete, but they had the opportunity on the counter and they didn't make the most of it again, Brighton.
And now Brighton have it in the centre circle, moving the ball to the right to Van Hecke, coming forwards from centre half for the visitors. Brighton have won just 1 of their last 8 league games against Sunderland. That was back in 2005. They won their last away game, Brighton, this season, 2-0 at Brentford. Was their only win in the last 6 Premier League away games. They've had chances in this game, certainly in the first half. Hinchelwood with a couple. Been saved by VAR in the second. Narrow offside against Alderete in the build-up to Riggs' goal. Brighton on the attack here with Gomez. Ball to the right to Wiffer. And now Gomez, that's a poor return pass. Gomez does well to salvage it, but he's not going to make it stick. Sunderland back to their goalkeeper. That's a poor pass back and a needlessly conceded corner to Brighton.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? It's Gomez drifts across the pitch there and the ball's running out of play. Trey Hume regains possession for Sunderland and is sloppy with his back pass to the goalkeeper. Plays it behind for the corner.
And Minte will stroll across to that far side to take this first Brighton corner of the second half, as in League 2. Swindon, big game at the top of the division, level at home to MK Dons. Ollie Clark's got that. Swindon 1, MK Dons 1. Here Sunderland just need to stay alert here, because a vulnerable time, having just scored and had it chalked off by VAR. Brighton with a chance here to deal a sucker punch. Minte, it's going to be an in-swinger. They've got 6 in the 6 yards area, Brighton. 2 standing on the 18 yards line waiting for the clearance. It's a poor delivery towards the near post, cleared away by Xhaka. Sunderland with a man down inside the penalty area. Minte receives the ball on the right. Still Brighton play on into the area. Minte tries the pull back and it's gone in. It's gone all the way in for Minte, and Sunderland aren't happy because they've got a man down holding his head. The referee's not stopped the game, and Minte has managed to scuff it across goal, somehow through the keeper and into the back of the net. Sunderland not happy because they've still got a man down holding his head, but moments after Sunderland took the lead and had it chucked off, they concede in controversial circumstances. Sunderland 0, Brighton 1, and everyone's frozen.
Yeah, a few boos around the ground there, and it's Habib Diarra. It goes down, just see it back there, he gets pushed to the ground. I'm not sure whether there's that much in it really. Play goes on, they had a couple of opportunities to clear it, Sunderland they don't, and then it's Minte. I said first half he was right down the left hand side, this time he's over on that right hand side. He goes past Granit Xhaka and then gets to the byline, doesn't he? Let's just have a quick look at it back now. Goes with the right foot and he's almost scuffed it in at the near post. The keeper's wrong footed, he thinks he's going across. Does he touch it with his left foot first? Let's have a look, can't see it. He's on his way down there.
Yeah.
Well, actually Van Hecke's in front of Elborg, he's blocking his view and it just nips him past him at his near post. He's blinded the Sunderland goalkeeper, can't do anything about it, and his reaction says it all. And as it stands, Sunderland are a goal down.
That is one of the weirdest goals I have seen all season. Minte into the area right side. He was going down, falling, and with his falling right foot beats the goalkeeper at his near post. It goes in, far side of the net. Everyone thought it was going to be disallowed because Diarra was down at the back post holding his head. And we're just having a look at the replay here to see what was going on with Diarra. He's been shoved by Dunk. Now, whether that's going to have an impact, there's no VAR message on our screens here. The game yet to restart, though. Thomas Kirk he restarts the game now, and that goal does stand. One of the weirdest goals that I have seen in some time from Yankuba Minte gives Brighton an undeserved lead at Sunderland. He's just shoved by Dunk.
Well, I was going to say, is there a possibility that Van Hecke's obstructing his view and he's offside, but obviously Granit Xhaka's gone off the pitch. So he obviously counts as a player still, but it's a bizarre one. As you say, we talk about the beach ball goal a few years back with Darren Bent, and that's certainly up there as well, isn't it? And very bizarre one.
Minte with the goal as we hit the hour mark here at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland 0, Brighton 1. Sunderland win the ball in the midfield. They need to keep their heads up here. Sadiqi's got it. Xhaka in support, but Sadiqi goes to his left to Hume, and now he's got support wide of him as well. Weaver is beaten. Sunderland into the area left side. Cross takes a deflection. They win a corner as Millwall, as things stand, move into the Championship's top 2. Above Middlesbrough, Millwall 1, Blackburn 0. Big goal at either end of the table, that. Millwall into the automatic promotion places.
Yeah, creeping along nicely under Alex Neil there, aren't they? See, looking like Middlesbrough and Coventry are getting away, and they keep slipping up and they keep going about the business, Millwall. But yeah, that one there, you go back to the incident where it come about. It's Trey Hume with a sloppy pass, wasn't it? Gives the corner away, and Sunderland didn't get the ball clear from that point onwards, and they were made to pay.
Sunderland's first corner of the second half, whipped in across the 6 yards line, headed away by Brighton. Millwall heading for the Premier League, Leicester heading for League One. It's Leicester 1, QPR 3 at the King Power Stadium now, as Sunderland, because of that clear corner, have to settle for a throw just inside the Brighton half. Bizarre goal leading to Brighton going ahead here by 1-0 at the Stadium of Light. They've not won on Wearside since 1981. They're on the way to 3 points at the moment though, and it's the ultimate sucker punch for Sunderland, who were done by a really narrow offside a few minutes before that.
Well, not only that, they started the half really well, didn't they, for 10 minutes. So Brighton didn't have any possession whatsoever in the Sunderland half, and out of nothing really. It's loose pass mentioned there from Trey Hume, gives the corner away, and they didn't recover from there.
Here, Ballard looking for a through ball towards Brobby, intercepted by Brighton, throw into Sunderland. 10 yards from the corner flag on this near side, the Sunderland right, taken quick and taken short. A little bit heavy as well, that, as it made its way back to Hare Trowder, but he peels in from the right. He's forced to go back though to the halfway line to Trey Hume. Sunderland at the moment heading for a third straight home league defeat. Long way to go. Elborg long and high down the centre, looking for Brobby. Brobby heads it back. Will it fall for Sadiqi? No, it won't, because Brighton are able to intercept and get the ball to Welbeck, who's back in the midfield at the moment. He's been kept reasonably quiet, the Brighton top scorer. They've not needed him though so far. Sunderland on the attack. Shot's going to go in from distance that time from Diarra, well wide of the top corner.
Yet again, they regain possession Sunderland, 30 yards out or so. Chris Regan, he feeds it into Habib Diarra. He's got a little pocket of space there, and he turns. Nobody comes to press him really, and it is there for the strike, but you see Lewis Dunk backing off. But again, he's similar to Brobby 5 minutes or so ago, just blazes it, gets underneath the ball, and it's up and over the crossbar. And an hour or so gone. It's a frustrating one for these Sunderland fans inside the Stadium of Light.
And this is a worry here, because Sunderland have got Dan Ballard down, receiving treatment inside the centre circle, and he looks to be in some discomfort as well. And I say it's a worrying one because he's a key player, and two, because Dan Ballard is the kind of character who doesn't stay down unless he's hurt.
Yeah, just have a look. Luke O'Nien stripped off, I think it is, there on the touchline down below us. So it looks like he's coming on, whether he comes on straight swap at centre back for Dan Ballard. And he's been excellent this season, made that step up from the Championship. And for me, to date, he's been Sunderland's best player this season.
So Ballard replaced by O'Nien, who's coming on for only his 7th Premier League appearance this season. Luke O'Nien wearing shirt number 13 for Sunderland. And Ballard makes his way to this near side, wiping his face with the bottom of his shirt. Not moving too well, and certainly looks to be in some discomfort. So a little bit of reshuffling at the back for Sunderland here. Not what they needed when they're chasing the game 1 goal down.
And certainly not what they need when they've got the big derby coming up next weekend either. There's already 1 or 2 in the treatment room. You don't want to see Dan Ballard joining them.
Yeah, and Goulo's going to be out for 4 to 6 weeks. Lefay's injury keeping him out of the game today, nowhere near as serious. It is hoped he will be fit for that big game at St James's Park next Sunday lunchtime. It's going to be my first one of those, my first time Weir derby. Really looking forward to that next week on 5 Live. Should be excellent. Should be a great atmosphere as ever. Sunderland have got the ball. I'll just be hoping they've got the players next week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the likes of Roofs as well, and see Ronaldo. There's a few there you could do with, but they've got to dig in. They're not the only side this stage of the season. You get through those tough winter months, and so you get a little bit busy in the treatment room.
Other experienced players on the bench, just Sirkin, Mayenda and Isidore. Then they've got 3 Joneses on the bench, 2 brothers, Harrison and Jaden, and then Jensen Jones on there as well, and another youngster in the form of Jack Whittaker. They brought in, obviously, big signing, 4.5-year deal in January, Jocelyn. He's not in the squad today. There's plenty not at Regis Labrisse's disposal. Here, they're on the attack with Brobby, wearing shirt number 9. Moves the ball to his left. Cross unable to come in. Sunderland have it dead centre. Rigg works the ball back. Shot goes in from distance, just wide of the top corner from Trey Hume.
Yeah, lovely play from Sunderland. They don't give it up there. They win it back. I think it's Diarra and Brobby do really well. And Trey Hume just comes in off that left-hand side. A little give and go, edge of the box. See it back and it opens up again. They don't come and put pressure on it, Brighton. It's a decent strike this time. And it's not up and over. It's just to the right-hand side of Verbruggen's goal. But it doesn't test the goalkeeper and it remains at 1-0.
The boos you can hear are because the Sunderland fans think Brighton are too slow in getting the game restarted in the Championship. Millwall, a goal up against Blackburn, but a man down. Zach Sturge has been sent off there on the hour mark. Here, Sunderland trying to find a little bit of space to mount an attack, but that was good defending by Van Hecke, who now receives the ball back as he goes forwards on the attack. He started the move. Van Hecke, his final through ball was poor. Sunderland able to intercept. It will fall for Brighton though with Welbeck on this near side, midway inside the Sunderland half. Van Hecke trotting back, trying to get back into position ASAP. As we hit 66 minutes at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland 0, Brighton 1. Over on 5 Live, still goalless. Burnley and Bournemouth in what sounds like an absolute thriller at Turf Moor. Ball worked back to Verbruggen here. More Premier League commentaries for you tomorrow on Premier League Sunday with Steve Crossman. Manchester United against Aston Villa at 2. Liverpool against struggling Spurs at 4:30. Monday Night Club with updates from Brentford Wolves this coming Monday night with Mark Chapman, and then it's all about the Champions League second legs. Tuesday, commentary of Manchester City against Real Madrid. Wednesday, commentary of Liverpool against Galatasaray. A couple of mouth-watering second legs to come this next midweek on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Ball goes out into touch on this near side. It's going to be a Sunderland throw, third of the way inside the Brighton half of the field. Sunderland trailing as we go into the final quarter of this game, but we were talking about the substitutes, or lack of them, at Regis Labrisse's disposal. There's not really much he can do moving forward. Mayenda, Isidore.
I think Eliza Mayenda's the one I'd be looking at. You know, he's quite sharp, isn't he? Get him up top there, playing maybe off Brian Brobby, look for a little ball or two in behind, get the centre-backs running back towards their own goal. And as you say, there's a lot of young boys on there filling the bench for Sunderland this afternoon.
Brighton on the attack. Minte with the ball in. Whiffers waiting. Can he bring the ball under control? He's going to have space. Knocks it back. Gomez over the bar. Unmarked from 16 yards. That should have been 2-0 Brighton.
Yeah, Luke O'Nine's just having a word with the ref. He feels that he's pulled back there as he's running back towards his own goal. Again, the counter's on. And it's Minte again. His pace has caused problems all afternoon. He just feeds the ball across into the middle. And then they don't really... It's Talby at the far post. Just does enough initially. And then Gomez blazes it over. We've seen 1 or 2 at the other end this afternoon, and that one follows suit.
In League 1, Cardiff 3-0 up now at Exeter, and in League 2 it's all square. Barnet and Newport at 1 apiece there. Here, Sunderland with the ball inside their own half. They want it down the other end at the moment, trailing 1-0. Alderete with the ball out to the left. And they'll take their time coming forwards here. Home supporters, brilliant as ever, but starting to get impatient. Xhaka in the midfield. Ball over the top, too much on that goalkeeper. Verbruggen will come and make the claim just ahead of Talby. Verbruggen, the calmest man in the ground, just as Talby thought he had a sniff there.
Yeah, just wasn't enough space in behind, was there? I think he had the legs on Van Hecke there, but Verbruggen, good starting position, edge of his box, comes to gather it.
Welbeck up to Minte on halfway, and now Kadioglu will take over, forced to check because he's marked by 2. Kadioglu with the ball in field, and there's nobody in midfield for Sunderland, so Weefer's able to sweep it to the right. Gomez is in there, tries the pull back. Someone needs to take charge for Sunderland. Instead, All Alderete can do is put the ball out for a throw on the far side. Lots of space in that midfield, which is a real worry from a Sunderland defensive point of view. Brighton with a quick throw, receive the ball back, it's played forwards, Gomez, and now Gross, 25 yards out inside right, looking for some options here. Gross goes back out to the right, receives the ball back, nice one too. Hume back defending, Gross tries to muscle his way through, Talby's over there supporting, goal kick. The final outcome as Plymouth level at Reading 2-2.
Yeah, I think it's been quite an open game anyway, hasn't it? But as you say, they're Sunderland pushing high. Even Granit Xhaka generally as the sitter in front of the two centre-backs. He's high as well, and there was a huge pocket of space. And once again, Brighton don't capitalise and make the most of it.
Sunderland play out from the back, from goalkeeper Elborg. He goes long, but the ball's going to come straight back at them here. Gomez on the attack down the right. At the moment, it feels like Brighton are heading towards a second, unless Sunderland can turn the tide somewhat. Sunderland with the ball inside their own penalty area here at the moment. Sunderland 0, Brighton 1. Sunderland lose it. They get away with it because the ball ricochets behind for a goal kick. But these are really worrying times. This is their most difficult spell of the game, Sunderland, by an absolute country mile.
Yeah, it's in the balance, isn't it? As you say, if you think Brighton go and get the next goal, it's game over, I think. But as you say, Sunderland, they've got to take risks, but you can feel the nervousness inside the Stadium of Light when they're passing the ball in their own defensive third.
When does Regis Lebris make a change and look at Isidore and Mayenda? Someone's being called back from their warm-ups at the moment. Sunderland on the attack here. That's a strong challenge going in on Hertrauder by Minte. Just a throw though, says referee Kirk. Throw in taken by Habib Diarra, and that was a foul throw, which kind of sum up how the last 15 minutes have gone for the home team.
Yeah, it does. I'm just having a look, as you say, it is. Elijah Mayenda's been called back in there. Change at the top end of the pitch. That was the one. You've got Wilson Isidore, who's, for honest, he's been out of form. He's struggled in recent weeks down the pecking order. His last goal was at Chelsea. He's back in October. 4 goals for the season. Wilson Isidore has not got going since.
Mayenda with just the 2. But they're the only options that Regis Lebris really has to change things on his bench moving forwards. Xhaka, it's been great to see him back, anchoring things in recent weeks in the Sunderland midfield. That's a poor ball from him though, goes straight to fellow experienced pro Milner, able to intercept. Brighton at the moment heading for their 3rd Premier League win in 4. It's been a proper recovery. That is a strong tackle going in over there by Matt Wiefer. Referee's going to keep his cards in his pocket, but that was strong from Wiefer.
Yeah, on Siddiqui, wasn't it?
On
yeah,
Siddiqui.
I think the ref generally's had a good game. We haven't spoke about him too much, have we? So that's generally a good sign of a ref's performance. But yeah, he just apologises. The hands up early, apologising to the referee there, Matt Wiffer.
Mayenda standing by in the dugout just to the left of halfway. 4th official standing on the side of the pitch next to where Regis Lebris is standing with his arms folded at the moment. Sunderland on the attack though, and Hertrauder has space to move into on this near side. The Sunderland right runs straight into Kadioglu, so it'll be a Sunderland throw 20 yards from the corner flag. Will Mayenda make his entrance now, or is he going to be made to wait until after this throw-in? It's going to be made to wait. Hertrauder thinks about taking it, but then very casually leaves it 4:09. Sunderland need to realise they're a goal down here with 17 minutes to go. They need a little bit more urgency in their play because they're playing at the moment straight into Brighton's hands. Sunderland 0, Brighton 1. That Minte goal just before the hour mark, bizarre goal, is what separates the two teams. 09 with a long throw here. Doesn't find anybody wearing red and white. The Brighton clearance though, lots of height on it, no distance. Header goes in. Good save by Verbruggen to keep that out at his near post. It was the most bizarre clearance I've seen all day. Lots of height, no distance, and they were very nearly made to pay a heavy price there, Brighton.
They were, yeah. Omar Alderete, isn't it, attacks it. The Brighton players stood there, it's 30, 40 feet dropping ball out the sky, and nobody really went to attack it, and it almost crept past Verbruggen at his near post.
Now Sunderland man's gone down off the ball there. It was a shove by Minte on 09, and the referee's going to blow up, give Sunderland a free kick. And Minte here, the referee's reaching for his pocket and pulls out a yellow card. Minte, strong with his protests, would be wise to stop because otherwise he's going to get a second yellow for dissent.
Yeah, it's off the ball, isn't it? It's on Luke 09, down on the touchline. See the referee's watching the ball and the play happening in the box, as is the linesman as well, but it's just a yellow card for Minte. See it back in a moment or so, but Sunderland have a free kick down below us, 25 yards out, almost on the touchline.
Yeah, on the right, to be delivered by Xhaka. We're just having a look at the replay here. A little bit of argy-bargy, and he shoved him over with two hands. It wasn't in the face, it was on the chest, so yellow card, the right call. As West Brom get a second at home to Hull, that is a massive result for them as things stand. West Brom 2, Hull 0. Xhaka with a free kick here, plenty of pace on it, headed away by Brighton, back to where it was delivered from, this near side. Brighton try and come forwards on the counter. Sunderland do well, that's a foul on Rigg, and is that going to be a yellow card for Pascal Gross here? Referee says just a free kick. Minte involved again.
Yeah, let's see it back again. It goes into Chris Rigg. Lovely little flick turn there, and it is Minte. Yeah. Ooh,
he was clumsy. He fell into him, Minte there.
Yeah, it's a free kick. Yeah, probably not more than. Probably doesn't warrant a second yellow card if we're honest, does it? But the Sunderland fans inside the ground, they want one, and I think
yellow card for Xhaka for his protest.
Well, yeah.
We're just having a look at the Alderete chance again. That header a few moments ago did really well to rise high. Verbruggen did really well to make the save, and now the change is going to get made by Brighton, and this is really clever. This is really clever actually from Fabian Hürzeler. The player he's taking off before he gets sent off is Yankuba Minte. He's going to be replaced by Maxim de Kuyper.
Yeah, the Sunderland fans think you're not fit to referee there. We've just been saying I think the refs generally had a good game this afternoon. We've seen it back there. I don't think it is a second yellow card, to be honest. It's a free kick, and it's a good decision actually, isn't it, from Hürzeler and his coaching staff to withdraw Minte. I think he's done the damage this afternoon. He's been excellent down this left-hand side for Brighton, and before he does pick up that second yellow card and maybe the crowd influence the referee, it's the best call I think to bring him off.
Because that was absolutely, it wasn't a second yellow, but the referee went over and said to Minte, absolutely no more. And before he has the chance to put in one more, Fabian Hürzeler's made the call and got him off the pitch. De Kuyper on, game will restart. Sunderland free kick, 25 yards from the byline, inside right. Trey Hume with the delivery, Trey Hume with a poor delivery, and it's headed away by the first Brighton defender. Now there's a coming together. Sadiki's gone down, and so too is a Brighton player, both holding their heads. So it will be a Sunderland free kick inside right, 25 yards out again. Shooting position, yes. And the referee, I don't think, is going to take any further action following that coming together between the two. It was a poor delivery in the first place that was headed away. Sadiki,
De Kuyper, isn't it? It's
clattered
just come on
by De Kuyper.
Oof. Yeah, clash of heads there. Both fixed eyes on the ball there. Just one of those, isn't it? It just gets there. Split second ahead of De Kuyper there. Noah Sadiki, and it's going to be another free kick for Sunderland, 25 yards out, more central this time.
This will definitely favour
Granit Xhaka's left foot, I would say.
Brian Brobby's race has run, he's tried, he's ran, he's huffed and he's puffed, but he's not really threatened in front of goal. And now for the final 13 minutes plus stoppage time, Brobby's going to be replaced by Eliza Mayenda.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier, different types of strikers there. He's a lively character when he's at it, Eliza Mayenda. He causes problems for centre-backs. Brian Brobby coming back in, he's had a couple of weeks out with injury as well. So what's he, 77 minutes in the tank. He'll get a breather, as we say there, before the derby next weekend. But can Eliza Mayenda come on, cause some problems and get Sunderland back into this game?
Couple of goals in the Championship. Ipswich have broken the deadlock at Hillsborough. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Ipswich 1 with 12 minutes to go. And the mystery that are Stoke City get a second at home to Watford. Millie and Manhoof's got both there. Stoke City 2, Watford 0. Here, Xhaka spots the ball down, just to the right of centre, 25 yards out, lining it up on his left foot. Granit Xhaka, just the one goal for the season so far. His side are one down at home to Brighton, heading for their third straight home Premier League defeat, unless he can provide something as we head into the closing stages. This a big chance from the free kick. Years of experience, 34 on his back, 34 years old. Can he do something here? We've given him the big build-up as Brighton just make sure their four-man wall is in place. Referee makes sure it's back the full distance. Granit Xhaka keen to get on with it here. It's a Sunderland player being spoken to for interfering with the wall, actually. Xhaka, close up on our monitor, a face of concentration here. 11 minutes to go now. Sunderland 0, Brighton 1. What can Xhaka provide. Xhaka with his left foot straight into the wall. All that build-up, and then he does that to us. Loose ball falls for Tolby over on the far side. He's forced to go back to goalkeeper Alborg, and they'll be forced to build again from the back, Sunderland, as MK Dons go 2-1 up at Swindon in League 2. High ball forwards by Alborg. Should be an easy clearance for Wifa. Closed down by Mayenda. Fresh legs, just comes on. Excellent play from Mayenda. That pressure earns his side a throw out of nowhere.
Yeah, he just crept up there on the back of Wifa, didn't he? There, and you know what? For me, he showed more effort in 5 seconds then than what he did at Port Vale last week. Eliza Mayenda, big opportunity for him from the start last week, didn't produce, but there puts pressure on the Brighton back line and wins his side a corner. Just going back to the free kick. Yeah, Granit Xhaka, he puts his laces through it, didn't he? Just didn't quite get the height on it.
Long throw it is. It comes in from the far side, headed back into the penalty area. It's Dunk who's trying to clear on the stretch. Ball's going to go out for a Sunderland corner. A third of the second half, and they're getting more urgent to take these. 10 minutes on the clock. Sunderland 0, Brighton 1. Xhaka with an in-swinging delivery. He'll be hoping this is much better than that free kick a couple of moments ago. Left foot, wearing the armband. In it goes. It's not going to clear the first man again. Easy clearance for Gomez at his near post, and Sunderland have to settle for a throw. At the moment, as great as he's been for Sunderland across the season, it's not been Granit Xhaka's afternoon.
No, it hasn't, no, and that's been the story really in recent weeks, whether it's Enzo Lefebvre or one or two others on set pieces, and you don't beat that front man, it kills the atmosphere in the stadium. And as I say, as a former defender, a centre-back, when you go up for a set piece and you ran 60, 70 yards, the ball gets cut out near post, it's cleared, who's the one that's then running back towards their own goal? It isn't the centre-forward.
09 with the long throw, headed away easily that time by Welbeck. Kadioglu plays it further forwards with a high ball forward on the turn. Intercepted by Tolby, back to Elborg. He's got a player either side of him, Elborg, one of whom is Xhaka, being closed down very quickly that time by Maxim de Kuyper. Back to Elborg, who is going to be under pressure here. Just hit it downfield, for goodness sake, like 09 has done anyway after all of that nonsense. And maybe now Sunderland can get somebody on the end of this. Challenge goes in by the back-tracking Van Hecker, and it will be a Sunderland throw taken quickly by Hertrauder, who receives the ball back. Ball in field. Diarra in a battle with Kadioglu. He knocks Diarra off the ball and then clears on the turn. Only as far as Xhaka in the midfield. 8.5 to go. Sunderland 0, Brighton 1 on Sports Extra 2. Still Burnley 0, Bournemouth 0, which is available on 5 Live right now with the usual goal service. Sunderland and Xhaka play the ball forwards to the left once more. Xhaka receives it back, pulling all the strings in the midfield, just not that effectively. Here's 09, chipped ball, diagonal, into the penalty area, not cleared by Brighton, and then Dunk completely scuffs it behind, but the offside flag goes up on this near side, and it will be a free kick as Celtic get a third at home to Motherwell. Celtic 3, Motherwell 1, and Ipswich get a second at Sheffield Wednesday from the penalty spot. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Ipswich 2. It's also Stoke 2, Watford 1, so Watford have got a goal back, and it's Wigan 2, Bradford 0 in League 1. So a setback for Bradford, starting the day 4th in the table. Here, 1-0 Brighton with 8 minutes to go, plus you'd imagine a fair bit of stoppage time, Danny Collins.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. And Sunderland, I'll push in, I say, other than that sort of 5 minutes really, Brighton haven't had a lot to go off at the top end of the pitch, and it was just a couple of moments of madness, and the goal summed it up really from a Brighton point of view. But they're in front. They would argue they deserve it from their first half performance, but Sunderland are having a good go here, trying to get back into the game.
Brighton go long down the centre. Elborg comes out of his area and uses his head in a couple of ways there. Ball played forwards by Sunderland. It's with Diarra in the centre circle. Does well to find himself half a yard. He's able to knock the ball back to 09, who's come on as a substitute for the injured Dan Ballard. 09 with the ball coming back to his right foot at the moment. He's got Welbeck ahead of him, trying to pass as much as they can rather than go long. Elborg does go long and he gives the ball away. Here's Milner in the centre circle. And now Diego Gomez, wearing shirt number 25 for the visitors, who are on their way, as I mentioned a few moments ago, to a third Premier League win in 4 games. 1-0 they lead thanks to that Minte goal into the area right side, falling, and somehow was able to beat Elborg at his near post. It was clumsy from the keeper. I mean, you could say it was clumsy for Minte really, but somehow it managed to find a way in. Yeah,
I think what it is, Granit Xhaka's actually given Minte a nudge as he's gone to cross it, and he's just off balance, isn't he? And he's almost sliced it past the goalkeeper at his near post, and as I say, Van Hecker as well was blocking his view, and it's just surprised him, and it's done him at his near post.
Sunderland on the attack, down their left, 6 yards from the byline. Wifa defends, goes to ground, tries to recover it, can't. Referee says play can continue, cross goes in. That's going nowhere fast, apart from behind for a Brighton goal kick, and it's another Sunderland waste.
Yeah, bizarre choice from Talby there. He steals the ball off Brighton into the box then. He tries to stand the ball up too much on it at the far post. Goes out of play for the goal kick when there's 2 or 3 Sunderland players waiting for a square pass on the edge of the box to pull it back to.
Talby substituted, leaves the pitch behind the goal that Sunderland are attacking away to our right. Dennis Serkin comes on with 6 minutes to go plus stoppage time. Stoke 3, Watford 1 now in the Championship, and a big goal at either end of the table there. 10-man Millwall have been pegged back by Blackburn at home. Millwall 1, Blackburn Rovers 1. Matthias Jorgensen with that equaliser. It's also Crewe 0, Walsall 2 in League 2, and Doncaster 2, Blackpool 0 in League 1. Here in the Premier League, one of 2 3 o'clock kickoffs. Sunderland 0, Brighton 1, 5 Live, still goalless at Turf Moor. Burnley and Bournemouth, 5:30, Arsenal Everton on 5 Live, Chelsea Newcastle on Sports Extra, and then updates later from 8 into the rugby of West Ham against Manchester City from the London Stadium. Ball high in the Sunderland half, and Brighton will come forwards here to the edge of the area. Pass nearly finds Welbeck. Sunderland able to clear, recovered by Kadioglu. Can't make it stick. Sunderland will play the ball away down their right, up towards Mayenda. First touch takes him wide to the right. Tackle goes in by Van Hecker. Thought he kept it in, hasn't. Sunderland throw midway inside the half.
Yeah, that's the situation they want there with Mayenda. He drags Van Hecker out of the middle edge, just tries to skip past him, doesn't he? Dink the ball over him. He does well. He dives in, Van Hecker, but he gets enough on it to see it out for the throw in.
Orient 2, Peterborough 0 in League 1. Is there another goal in this game in the top flight? Sunderland come forwards. Alderete, that is an awful pass. It's gone straight to Gross, and he's left his side wide open here to a counter as Hinchelwood comes forwards, gives it to Gross, wide on the left. Brighton looking to just manage the game now as we go into the final 4 minutes. He was in no hurry to get the ball forwards there, actually. Gross just decided to check, wait for some support, and just keep possession and cleverly tick away a few more seconds. Brighton from left to right, not going to make it stick that time. Serkin's going to be on hand to intercept, goes back to his keeper, and he's going to play the ball to substitute 09 on this near side. Newport are 2-1 up at Barnet. Oldham 1, Grimsby 0 in League 2 as well. Goals flying in elsewhere. Sports Report on 5 Live after 5 with Mark Chapman ahead of commentary of Arsenal versus Everton. Wrapping everything up. Podcast available first thing tomorrow morning as well via BBC Sounds. Xhaka to Trey Hume over there. And now it's Hertrauder in the centre circle. Started the game at right back, but now he's playing just about anywhere as Sunderland hurry to try and get the ball forwards.
I was going to say hurry, yeah, they're just knocking it around here, aren't you? 1 or 2 fans, urging them on, put the ball in the box there, get the ball into the forward, keeping possession, but Brighton will be happy with that in their defensive shape.
Brighton have got 4 more substitutes that they can make as well to take away some more time. They're going to make their second one now. Yashin Ayari standing by to come on, and he's going to take the place of a man who could have had 2 goals in the first half. Jack Hinchelwood, the youngster, certainly should have scored the first opportunity that fell his way.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, relatively quiet because certainly in this second half, Brighton haven't had too much of the ball going forward, but 2 big opportunities, as you say. Lee in that first half, and first one especially, 4 yards out. Again, give credit to Elborg, spread himself well, got the boot on it, but yeah, he would have felt there, he would have put his side in front, but as things stand, he's still getting back on the Brighton team bus with 3 points in the bag.
That's Danny Collins, who's summarising with us here on Sports Extra 2. As soon as the final whistle goes, he's going to make his way down to pitch side. If you're able to watch Final Score on BBC One, he's going to be giving his post-match thoughts to John Bennett there, then doing bits of hospitality in the boxes. That's known as making a few quid, I think.
Busy day.
Busy day. Very busy days everywhere as Blackburn take the lead at Millwall. Well, where's that come from? Millwall 1, Blackburn 2.
And there's us praising them 10 minutes ago, weren't they? Creeping along nicely, and then it's gone to pieces for them. But yeah, Ipswich are coming up the rails, aren't they, as well? And I think that's the Championship for you, isn't it? It's going to be like that between now and the end of the season.
Jorgensen with both for Michael O'Neill's Blackburn. He's gone in there and done a cracking job. But Millwall down to 10, and now a goal down at home to Blackburn. Cardiff home and dry at Exeter 0, Cardiff 4, and Blackpool have got one back at Doncaster. Doncaster 2, Blackpool 1. Here, 90 seconds to go, plus you'd imagine quite a bit of stoppage time. And we've been praising Sunderland all afternoon. As we go into these final few seconds, they don't look like scoring at all.
No, fine margins. Just looking at 1 or 2 players now around the pitch, shoulders have gone down, slumped, and it looks like they admitted defeat. They've had a good go, as you say, not a lot in the game, could have gone either way. Yes, for me, Brighton were excellent first half, created 3 or 4 good opportunities, didn't take them. Sunderland have had some good openings as well themselves, and it's been quite an open and enjoyable game really, but it looks like one that Brighton are going to come out on top in.
Nearly caught playing out from the back, Sunderland. Xhaka under a little bit of pressure here from Gomez, draws the foul, wins the free kick. For the first hour or so in this game, Sunderland looked like the Sunderland who beat Burnley here, the Sunderland who beat Palace here, but for the last 15 minutes they look like the Sunderland who performed so badly at Vale Park. They've been all over the place, but you have to caveat that by saying, look, Regis Lebris has not got many options at his disposal to try and change things.
And you're chasing the game as well, aren't you? As I say, they're lacking options really. Mayenda's come on, he hasn't really had a sniff so far. He's pressed and closed down, but you want to see him getting balls into the box, don't you? Something to get on the end of.
Final 30 seconds, fourth official standing by with his ball. Sports report on the way on 5 Live between 5 and 5:30. No 6:06 tonight because of the final round of fixtures in the Six Nations. Ball goes behind for a Brighton goal kick, and the opportunity for Bart Verbruggen, wearing all black away to our right, to waste a few more seconds. Certainly the turning point in this game, the disallowed rig goal, rightly disallowed for offside when we looked at it back, but it was tight, and Sunderland weren't quite the same after that.
No, and as you say, fine margins in football. That one goes Sunderland's way. It's probably a different game.
There's a little bit of optimism.
Was it 3 minutes, was it?
8
minutes.
8 minutes.
Well, 1 or 2 making their way for the exits, just turned round.
But Brighton on the attack with De Kuyper. Final ball through was poor. Sunderland clear. Rigg helps it on towards Mayenda, who's not been given the service since he came on about 10 minutes ago. Waits for the ball to drop out of the sky here. Does well to keep hold of it. Shoves off 2 challenges, but then his final pass to Xhaka is poor, and Brighton will come away with the ball with Kadioglu on this near side. Here's Welbeck. Receives the ball back. Clever 1-2. Nice little flick from Ayari to give him the ball back as well. Van Hecke, long from right to left on the diagonal, but he scuffs it, so it spins and it carries all the way through to goalkeeper Elborg. 1 minute of the 8 have elapsed. Sunderland 0, Brighton 1. Still Burnley 0, Bournemouth 0. Cambridge have 5 against Gillingham as they fly towards the top of the League 2 table. Cambridge 5, Gillingham 0. Here, Sunderland don't want 5, they'll just take the 1. I was listening to a few people at half-time amongst the home supporters. They said they'd take a point now, and it was 0-0 at half-time, but not anymore. Hume on the halfway line, works the ball to the left. You feel there's one last chance in this game during these final 6.5 minutes for Sunderland to try and equalise. Xhaka on the edge of the centre circle, looking for some movement. Gets some from the far side. That's intercepted by Wiefer, who had a bit of a stinker in the first half. He's been excellent. He's been rock solid since half-time, Mats Wiefer.
Yeah, he has. He had a couple of difficult moments, didn't he, up against Talby, and then a couple of strange passes he made across his own 18-yard box, but second half, as you say, he's knuckled down and tidied his game up, and he's been excellent.
Ball with Sirkin over on the far side, plays it forwards, but it's gobbled up in the air by Brighton. Gross helps it on. Ayari can't make it stick. Sunderland go back to their keeper. They need to be playing the ball the other way at the moment, as Walsall get a third. Away at Crewe in stoppage time. Crewe 0, Walsall 3 in League 2. 2 teams chasing for the playoff places there. Here, 2 teams relatively safe in the middle of the Premier League. But it's Sunderland who are losing out at the moment.
Yeah, and as you say, Sunderland, as good as they've been here this season, they don't want to get into this habit of losing games of football here at the Stadium of Light.
09 into the centre circle. No Sunderland fans, to be fair, have stayed here. They fancy that there's one more chance in this game, as that ball is played high towards Mayenda. Again, Brighton, who've been excellent defensively in the second half, make another interception. 09 back to his keeper Elborg, who's received the ball back so many times. They just want to get the ball downfield as quickly as possible. Alderete, who was caught offside for that disallowed Sunderland goal earlier on, plays it to his left. Sirkin peels in from the wing. Now Xhaka closed down quickly by Welbeck. He was caught napping there. Granit Xhaka has his pockets picked, and that allows Milner to get hold of the ball. And now Brighton will come forwards over halfway and waste a few more seconds. We have got 5 minutes of the 8 remaining. Clever again from Fabian Hertzler, getting ready to make a double change here, introducing Matt O'Reilly and Joel Veltman.
Yes, fresh legs on, try and see the game through, but they have had a couple of opportunities since the goal, haven't they, Brighton, where they've stole possession around the halfway line and could have counted 4v3 at the odd numbers, but they've opted to come back and keep the ball and try and see the game through rather than go and get that second killer goal.
Burton home and dry at Sixfields in League One. Northampton 0, Burton 2. Final score, Bromley 1, Bristol Rovers 0. Bromley win again at the top of League 2. Mark Chapman with all the full-time reaction on Sports Report after 9 minutes from now. So we're going to see Veltman come on here for Diego Gomez for the final 4 minutes of stoppage time, and we're going to see O'Reilly come on to replace Danny Welbeck, who's not had much to feed off this afternoon really, Welbeck, but he's put in a shift once again, gets a round of applause from the home supporters here as well. He was here 2010 to 2011, made a good few appearances for them, scored 6 goals during his time with Sunderland, and he's remembered fondly and gets a good ovation as he makes his way to this near side.
Yeah, he does indeed, yeah. It's been a difficult one for him this afternoon, as I say, certainly in the second half, but you know, he's put himself about. He's tried to get his team up the pitch as best as he can, but they're fighting a few lost causes in this second half. But as I say, getting back on that coach, like Hinshelwood as well, top end of the pitch. They haven't scored the goal, the all-important goal this afternoon, but as it stands, it's 3 points on the board for Brighton on that long journey back down south.
Oh, that is a long journey back down south. A feeling it will be being made by plane. 3.5 minutes to go, plus a little bit longer maybe, following those substitutions. Sunderland 0, Brighton 1 on Sports Extra 2. Arsenal Everton to come at 5:30 on 5 Live. Chelsea Newcastle to come on Sports Extra. Six Nations Rugby to come later. France England with updates of West Ham Manchester City. Final game of the day in the Premier League. 2 more commentaries tomorrow on 5 Live. Manchester United against Aston Villa at 2. 4:30 Liverpool against Spurs. Sports Extra tomorrow, Nottingham Forest against Fulham. I'm doing the reports from that in what is a massive game at the bottom of the table for Nottingham Forest. Here, this has been a game played out between 2 teams in the middle of the league. That's a foul on Hume. It's a Sunderland free kick. You feel on the balance of the game, a draw would be fair. You feel on the balance of certainly the last half hour, 40 minutes, it will be harsh on Brighton.
Yeah, possibly. I think, yeah, as you say, a draw, it could have gone either way, really. Few opportunities. Sunderland have had a lot of possession, certainly in the second half. You know, Brighton have been happy once they got themselves in front, as you say, sat off a little bit and kept the ball when they could, but big opportunity now. Was it coming up to the last minute or so of the game for Sunderland? Decent delivery needed. 96 minutes on the clock. Xhaka with the delivery and Veltman with the back header, and it's going to spin for a throw-in next to the corner flag on this near side. Final few seconds, we're entering the last chance saloon as O'Nien comes to this near side, wipes the ball on his shirt and gets ready to send in a long throw. Deliveries from throws and set pieces haven't been ideal for Sunderland today. That's a better throw into the 6 yards area, not dealt with by Brighton. Riggs in there, ball's loose, Brighton able to clear, and it's going to make its way back to the edge of the centre circle. Xhaka, ball to the right is too high that time for Diarra. It goes out for a Brighton throw, and that is the cue for many in this main stand to head for the exits. They feel their last chance is gone. Yeah, and I would agree. I think, yes, loose, isn't it? Noah Siddiqui, credit to Brighton there. They come out and press there, just hurried him a little bit, but he just sat up on him and pops it out of play, and then that's the signal for a few thousand Sunderland fans to make their way to the exits. There's been a problem. Goals have been a problem. I think the last 4 games, the only goal, Habib Diarra from a penalty spot at Ellen Road. Open play, you know, Port Vale last week didn't create too many opportunities. Today, I think they've had some good openings at times, but it's that final piece of the puzzle which is letting Sunderland down. Ball out for a Sunderland throw, midway inside the Brighton half. 40 seconds of the 8 minutes that were added on remain. Sunderland 0, Brighton 1. You'd imagine another minute or so because of the substitutions that have been made during stoppage time. O'Nien says, leave it to me. Wipes the ball on his shirt. It's another long throw. It's a really long throw from O'Nien. It's flicked on. It's cleared, and Sirkin will put the ball back forwards as he volleys it from the clearance, off target, and that might just be that. Yeah, he's just coming away from goal, Dennis Sirkin. He's got to try and fetch it from behind him. And again, there's been 3 or 4 opportunities for Sunderland in this second half. You see it back there, just 14 yards or so out, penalty spot, up and over the top of the crossbar. And you know, for all the possession they've had at Sunderland and into that final third, Verbruggen's had possibly 1, maybe 2 saves to make, hasn't he? Alderete's header. Other than that, they haven't created enough from open play, Sunderland. The 98 minutes are up, so now it's up to referee Thomas Kirk, and however long he wants to add on for those stoppage time substitutions. High ball forwards by Sunderland, calm header back by Van Hecker to goalkeeper Verbruggen, who holds onto the ball. Needs to be quick getting it downfield though, and the referee's just reminding him of that.
It's the ball on the ground, will be closed down by Mayenda. Referee Thomas Kirk has his first look at his watch. Verbruggen, long. 09 needs to defend, doesn't need to anymore because his side have been awarded a free kick. One last chance to whack it downfield. And there is the final whistle. Sunderland lose at home for the third Premier League game in a row. For Brighton, it's 3 Premier League wins in 4. Minte's scrappy goal, the difference in a scrappy game. It's ended Danny Collins, Sunderland 0, Brighton 1.
Yeah, it is, as you say, Lee. Disappointment here on Wearside this afternoon for Sunderland. Another defeat here at home, which was a fortress earlier in the season. And did they deserve it, Brighton? Possibly, certainly as the away team. They created some good opportunities. Second half sat off a little bit more and soaked it up and said to Sunderland, are you good enough to break us down? Can you create opportunities and cause our goalkeeper some problems? And they didn't do that, unfortunately, from a Sunderland point of view. And it's another defeat. And Brighton jump above them in the league table. It's compact in there, and it's not ideal from Sunderland's position going into the derby next weekend off the back of a defeat here this afternoon. But credit to Fabian Hürzeler and his Brighton side. They've come up here, was it 7th clean sheet of the season? He'll be delighted, certainly after last week as well, where they probably deserve something in the game against Arsenal. Come off the wrong side of a 1-0 defeat, but this afternoon they get back on their bus, or they're playing, as you say, with 3 points in the bag. And Sunderland, a long week now ahead of that derby next week up at St James's Park.
Sunderland drop a place to 12th. Brighton move up a few places to 10th. Both teams on 40 points. Both teams really with very solid, respectable seasons on the balance of it. It's just Brighton who've come good at the minute and Sunderland who are starting to tail off.
Yeah, 3 wins in 4, isn't it, for Brighton? And this stage of the season, sorry, if you go back to the start of the season and Sunderland, where did they want to be? Staying up is obviously priority. You get to 40 points, job well done, but there's still 9 games of the season to go. And after the disappointment last week at losing at League One, Port Vale in the FA Cup, you're looking for a reaction to bounce back at home in front of 45,000 of your own fans, and it's not been the case this afternoon as the Brighton players enjoy themselves in front of their fans who have made the long journey up this afternoon. But you've got to get back on it. Big week ahead on the training pitch. Keep on going. For me, I hate the saying, Lee, in football, not a lot to play for. That riles me. You've got a lot to play for. Fans pay a lot of money up and down the country to go and watch you. You're playing for contracts. Managers come in. If you taper off towards the end of the season and you're down tools as a player, that sticks in the fans' minds and the coaching staff's minds as well. So you've got to keep on going and playing for that shirt and building ahead for next season. And I'm sure those Sunderland players now will reflect on this afternoon as they did last week at Port Vale. But they've got to get ready for one hell of a game next week, and I'm sure you're at that one as well, as you say. Really
looking forward to that next week, the Tyne-Wear derby. Here this afternoon, the Brighton players celebrate on the pitch with their supporters who've made that long trip. They're housed in the top tier at the moment. It's ended Sunderland 0, Brighton 1 here. Elsewhere, it's ended Burnley 0, Bournemouth 0. Later on 5 Live, Arsenal against Everton on Sports Extra. Chelsea against Newcastle. From the Stadium of Light, though, my thanks go to Danny Collins, who's going to hot-foot it down pitch side to go and join John Bennett for reaction on Final Score on BBC One. Mark Chapman's got Sports Report on 5 Live. Here at the Stadium of Light, it's finished between Sunderland and Brighton. Sunderland 0, Brighton 1.